want to in Malibu.
Deep minds, we were forced to be alone. Unknowns and nowhere is the same. And even when it seems like there's no way out, we'll grow a little closer. We water, we flow. All of us together, we're good, we flow. Nothing is the same at all. Oh, back, oh, back, oh, back, 'cause we're
플러스 기아와 하나생명 e스포츠입니다.
하나생명 여전히 1위 가능성이 있는 만큼 오늘 경기를 잘 마무리하는 게 중요하겠고요. 디플러스 기아 이거 잡으면 3위까지 올라가시게 됩니다.
야, 다이브 못 오냐?
다이버 갈 수 있어.
완전
라인 넣어봐.
얘네 다이브 한타 볼 수 있어서.
셋이서는 볼 수 있긴 하지.
야, 이거 스트래핑 보자. 스트래핑도 보여.
라인 넣어봐.
근데 물량 빨면은 한 명 데려갈 만. 나 보면은.
오케이. 이제 랭.
너다. 못 다이브. 오케이, 못 다이브. 나 일단 버티는 중 한번. 호빠가 다 시키긴 했거든. 쟤네 잡은 거 같은데. 나필이 여기 출발.
끝.
얘들아, 나필이 여기.
오히려 좋은데.
오히려 좋은데.
치고 있을게.
싸움 괜찮아.
나 싸움 좋아.
여기 나오네. 여기 붙였다. 여기.
조합 받고. 다 걸긴 했어. 사이펜 도플. 얘들아, 애쉬공. 애쉬공 날라간대. 나 저. 애쉬 피했고. 나 저. 나 빠질 수 있나, 쉔?
나가 갈게.
쉔 나와줘. 알아서 해봐. 아래 오공 맞아, 오공 맞아, 오공.
나펠 되나? 나 이기야.
별로야. 짧게. 좋다. 잘 걸었다. 좋아, 나이스.
장판아.
야, 바텀 쪽으로 한번 뚫을까 봐야 돼. 애쉬 노스펠.
자, 또 해봤어. 야, 포켓.
나한테 도발표 걸었다. 아, 죽었네. 이거 싸게 뺀거 같은데? 작긴 했어. 나이스.
야, 나 필요로 있다. 야, 봐줄 수 있다.
천천히 올 수 있긴 해, 여기. 거기 위에 길게 하면 얘네 바텀 간다.
나 좋은 데 있는데 여기. 볼 수 있어 여기. 여기 볼수 있는데 노플.
맞아. 잘해 좋아.
W도 없어.
빼볼래?
아, 좋았어.
잡았다.
나이스.
빅토르 어디야?
빅토르 몰라. 야, 이거 라인 넣어볼래?
빅토르 미드.
쉔 노플이야. 나이스. 야, 쉔까지.
나까지 확인이네.
라인은 들어가. 좋다. 쉔 노플.
여기까지 오냐?
나이스.
야, 요리 혼자 나오는데?
나 참 여기 디테일되긴 하는데 8초 뒤.
야, 나 집 갔다 텔 돼.
한번에 더 할게. 거든. 나 필이 바텀 살짝만 봐줘. 확인. 어때? 요리 보는 거?
야, 여기 보는 거 조합인데?
야, 나 필요도 있다.
나
야, 대체 올게. 나 반전 왔어.
죽을 것 같긴 해. 버려야 돼.
이거 커버.
대기하면 우리 텔면서.
야, 보자.
뒤에 싸우는데?
나 뭐하냐.
키즈 맞대?
집중 좀만 하고 다시 천천히 하자. 조합 많이.
야, 이번 형 잘하긴 해야겠다.
이번 싸움 잘하면 할만해.
그냥 치는 게 어때?
나 체크 보자 이거.
오케이, 잡아.
야, 얘네 치러
치는 거
가.
같아.
나 볼게.
야, 여기 나 포켓.
오오오오오. 피골 빠졌고.
야, 나 필요부터 해줘. 나 필요.
천천히.
야, 쉔노플. 앞라인부터.
오프 맞아.
쉔노플.
바로 가자.
바로 가자. 바로 막아야 돼, 나 바로.
이거 천천히 따라와볼래?
매일 여기 있다. 조심.
야, 뭐 여기 뭔데?
나.
야, 이거 가자.
맞다 우리.
잡을만 하냐? 잡아도 되거든. 제발.
아깝다.
바로 나왔다 이거.
다행이다. 형, 제이스 여기 있어.
형 1샷으로 한번 날려봤는데.
맞았는데?
맞긴 했다 일단. 헤르메스 없긴 해.
가을마다. 죽지 않아 봐봐.
노플이야, 노플. 길어지면 안 돼. 야, 천천히 잡아봐.
안에 갔다.
원래. 너무 아깝다.
나이스. 좋아.
근데 이거 자리 먼저 잡는 게 좋을 것 같긴 해.
자리 잡자. 이거 용 위로 끌어봐 한번.
시야, 너 강조형 걸게. 야, 얘들아, 강조형 말 좀 해줘. 저 시야 와야 돼.
싸움이 중요해.
쉔 왼쪽.
제미치 별로 신경 안 쓰긴 한다. 제이스 여기 돌고 있고.
쟤는 무시해도 돼.
얘네 용 친다 형.
야, 볼게. 야, 우리. 야, 좋아.
야, 타줄래 이거? 어머 노플.
천천히 해볼래?
믿어.
집 막아야 돼.
막을만 할 것 같아.
안 되겠다. 안 되겠다.
끝나.
사이드.
이러면 나쁘지 않아.
바로 보자.
쉔 여기서 죽여놨는데.
나쉔 같은 거 공항 볼 수 있긴 하고.
쉔 못 보냐? 쉔 쿨감칠인데? 봐도 돼. 야, 쉔
보자.
쿨감칠이야.
형 빼야 돼.
나 죽었어.
죽었어? 시간 최대한 끌어볼래?
우리끼리 하는 거.
바로 다 나오긴 하는데.
이거 바로 먹자. 해야 될 것 같아.
견적 좀 봐야 될 듯?
그냥 질러야 될 것 같아.
그래. 야 이거 복도를 보면은 해주지.
밀어낼게. 제이스 위로 나와. 얘네 위로 나온다. 위로 볼 수 있나 우리? 얘네 달려있다.
먹어.
여기 제이스 살짝 봐줘. 제이스 노플. 제이스.
봐봐. 빼. 야,
여기
이거.
높게.
안 좋다.
탑으로
가자.
집 갔다 텔로 올게.
대용 줄 생각 떼야 돼. 끝내러 올 거야.
끝내자.
약간 천천히 해. 약간 라플리즈로 하다가 타워.
강남이 얘기해줘.
한 보긴 해야 돼,
볼게.
이거.
볼게.
보자.
빅토르 잡았어.
야야야 깜짝이야.
이거 타워 막자 타워.
천천히
칩.
오면서 카인이야? 나 보이스다.
아 끝났다.
아, 너무 아쉽다.
근데 제이스 나온다. 끝내자. 스타울 3초. 나이스 잘했다. 열심히 했어. 나이스.
하나생명 2대 0으로 승리했습니다. 더 높은 곳을 바라볼 수 있게 되었고요. 하나생명만의 운영이 나왔다는 게 너무나도 좋을 것 같습니다.
to go. No map, no light, just scars to show. Each fall curves something deep. The center of the world, lead the way. Everyone was mine to make. Every scar is a line I've drawn. Every wall is a sign I've worn. I don't just win, I carve my name into the stone against a flame. Every scar is a line I've drawn. Every wound is a sign I won. Cut by cut, mark by mark, my name forever in the stone. I don't just win, I live my mark into the stone.
디플러스기아 경기력 지금 무슨 일이에요?
우주체랑 디플러스기야 누가 막을래? 디플러스기야 그럼 최하위였군요. 그런데 1위를 잡았습니다.
쇼메이커의 플레이메이킹.
쇼메이커! 분명히 이 팀은 달라졌습니다.
디플러스기아 가기 좋거든요. 디플러스기아.
아니 코르키 포스 뭐예요? 디플러스기아 가자!
정말 레전드 그룹이 좀 쉽지 않네요.
아예 전투에 대한 자신감이 좀 많이 떨어진 KT가 됐습니다.
더 높이 가기 위해서는 분위기를 좀 바꿔놔야 될 텐데
BDD의 힘이 좀 필요한 상황이 됐습니다.
오늘부터 다시 반등이다. KT!
지어 잡아? 야무지게 먹었어.
KT 플레이오프 5번 시드로 올라갑니다.
Eyes in the dark, 모든 것을 봐. Cross realize when the shadows fall. Cocoa hands on the stake, 겁나지 않아. Moving all black van.
KT 화이팅!
상처 아프가 let the cold sink in.
미리 포켓트 KT 화이팅!
하늘 뒤집어 turn it upside down.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to LCK 2026. It is the Wooribank LCK playoffs, and it starts today with a continues today with a glorious best of 5 between D+ and KT. Two teams who have had a constant battle with the word consistency.
Yeah, and I think going into this one, I think D+, that recent form since we saw them at EWC has been so high. I think things are heavily in their favor, but by that, doesn't that give KT a pretty big advantage when the odds are against them?
Well, that's what I was thinking, because we will need to peek at the predictions to see exactly how this one is going to look for KT, because the more predictions there are for KT, the less likely they are to pull off the victory. That's how it all kind of shakes out. And I have a feeling that there might be a few that might think that they have a chance, but probably not many. Like, there is a chance that this is another one of those occasions where it all comes up D+, and KT have an incredible shot here. But yesterday, we did see that 5-game banger. T1 finally managing to clinch the series against a BNK FearX that looked so good. I really thought that we were going to be in a position where T1 were going to start in the lower bracket, but that is going to be where BNK FearX will reside, and KT will now be, T1 will be now moving forward. DK versus KT, we'll see which one of them is going to be up for grabs for Gen G to decide on.
I mean, we've had such a gauntlet so far with the play-ins and playoffs. We've had one less game than the maximum. 3 of our series have gone to 5, 1 went to 4, so if trends continue, this could be a longer one. We saw that earlier in the year, KT were in incredible form.
Yep.
And we're leading the standings for a good portion of round 1 and round 2. But D+, since they returned from EWC, have just been in a terrific position and have been dominating a lot of teams. Gen G, they won 2 series against. KT, they won 2 series against, and then trading blows with T1 and HLE. The highest match record of Legend Group in round 3 and 4 goes to D+. So despite these two being next to each other in terms of seeding, I think there has been a bit of a gap in terms of current form.
If it was a new season, a very small one, after MSI, then they would be the top dogs of the Legend Group. You're exactly right. And it's something that needs to be stated because recent form is very important moving into these playoffs, as BDD 5 kills away from hitting 3,000. Ruler getting very close as well, as we might see that in the next few days.
Yeah, a chance to hit it before Ruler, and you know, you got to imagine he will hit it today, because if you're not getting 5 kills in the best of 5, then I would be very worried.
It's going to be a long time before Aiming and Deft catch up as well, as Aiming coming back next year, and we'll see if Deft ever comes back. Word on the street is maybe.
Ooh.
And so obviously, as someone like me, very excited about that, as we are going to get into some predictions. And this is where we figure it out. Do KT have a chance? Looking good for KT so far.
I think it's. Oh, I'm looking at Jonas Strong. He's the only one I think could defect.
No,
he doesn't. He doesn't.
Okay, well, can I change my prediction right now? As long as it doesn't come up on the screen.
No,
I'm going to say
if you change your prediction,
3-2.
no, if you change your prediction, it won't happen. Don't even.
No, but like now.
No, don't.
No, but like now after it's come up. Look at this, 77%.
Oh, I look at the.
Oh, yeah.
They know.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to really struggle to fit all of them in if it keeps going like this. As, yeah, I could imagine the KT fans feeling pretty happy with how this one's going.
And D Plus fans worried because as you try and reassure yourselves and think, wow, with the form we've been in, surely we'll be able to handle this. That's how it always happens. That's how it always goes.
Momentum is the killer when you're facing off against KT.
They really just are a very counter-logic team.
Yep, they will really get you. Wow, CLG really did a number on the whole system, didn't they? Because now every time you say counter-logic anything, I just think of Kobe, and it's a real difficult time. As now, it is time to hear from the coaches and what they have to say about today.
안녕하세요. 저는 DK에서 감독을 맡고 있는 CVMX 김대호입니다. 정말 기쁘고요. 이런 걸 처음 받아봐서 그냥 너무 감사할 따름입니다. 선수들 이제 1년간 굉장히 열심히 하고 노력해가지고 그거에 맞는 리턴을 다 잘 받았다고 생각하고 있고요. 앞으로도 열심히 해서 또 좋은 상을 받는 날이 왔으면 좋겠습니다. 플레이오프 이제 중요한 경기 오니까 전부 다 이제 치열하고 쉽지 않겠다라는 생각을 했고요. 저희도 이런 치열한 싸움에서 이제 밀리지 않을 되게 열심히 해야겠다는 생각을 많이 했습니다. 저희가 연습을 많이 한 구도로 뱀픽의 전체 그림을 이제 유도하고 우리가 편한 그림을 만들어내는 걸 목표로 하고 있어서 그런 걸 좀 더 중심 둬서 뱀픽 하려고 할 것 같습니다. 매 순간 최선을 다해서 치열하게 한번 해보겠습니다. 디플러스 기아 화이팅!
안녕하세요. KT 로스터 팀의 감독을 맡고 있는 스코 고동빈입니다. 일단은 플레이오프 전 경기가 좀 힘들게 올라왔는데 힘들게 올라온 만큼 기쁜 것 같습니다. 결국 저희가 좀 질 뻔한 경기를 이겼기 때문에 기세도 조금 올랐다 생각하고 다들 어느 정도 자신감이 조금 더 붙은 것 같습니다. 상대 팀이 좀 라인전 부분에서 좀 연계적으로 오브젝트까지 연결되는 운영을 좀 좋아한다고 생각하는데 그런 부분을 좀 많이 신경 써서 뱀픽을 할 예정입니다. DK랑 이제 다전제 이번에 하게 되는데 저희가 아래에서 또 올라가는 만큼 기세 자체는 있다 생각해서 기세가 좀 더 저희가 좋다. 네. 또 힘겹게 올라온 플레이오프인 만큼 또 잘해서 다음 라운드까지 갈 수 있도록 하겠습니다. KT 로스터 화이팅!
Some interesting takes on how to take each other down here. I think Score talking about playing lane cautiously for DK wouldn't be something that I would have agreed with earlier in the year, as they were a little bit of a loose cannon, and has since. That's starting to ring true. Interesting.
Yeah. I think it's always interesting hearing the coach takes as well.
Shoot. All right, we're going to be welcoming the players to LoL Park here, starting off on the top side of the map. Shiu making his way out. And how do you feel about this in comparison to walking down the stairs?
I think it's pretty cool. Getting to do the full lap round.
Yeah.
And Perfect, who, honestly, I think a lot of people were contesting between these two players for that All-Pro slot in third place.
I think there was a few things that came to mind, but I honestly, I don't know whether it's regret or anything, but I think that they're interchangeable. As far as that topside position is concerned, for that third place. Perfect having such an incredible start to the season, though, and that was the majority of the games.
And Lucid, a player who had a great end to the season. You know, really moving up in people's estimations, a player who still kind of feels very fresh in the LCK, but has had a few years under his belt, and that Lee Sin play is just stuck in my mind that he made most recently. Him and Showmaker, when they're in great form, are a fantastic duo. But speaking of fantastic duos, Cuz, alongside BDD, that tried and tested combination that took them to the World Finals last year.
Exactly, Cuz I think his form has definitely been pretty up and down throughout this year, but we know what this guy is capable of. And he's someone that D Plus are really going to have to watch out for here today. This guy might be able to watch out for it as well, but I don't think I've seen a Showmaker in the last 3-4 years look this happy to be playing League of Legends again. And it is just so fantastic to watch. If you're a Showmaker fan, I think you probably know that he just hasn't necessarily looked like his heart was in it until this year. And it really has been a huge turnaround for him and for the team, and he's going to need it up against this guy right here. BDD, even with the tribulations that KT have been going through, BDD is still an absolute monster in that mid lane.
I feel like there's just certain picks that when BDD locks them in, I just have so much confidence in them. Syndra, a great example. He's had fantastic demonstrations. And speaking of fantastic demonstrations, Smash, winning Rookie of the Year, so well deserved. And a player who has just honestly been super consistent. D+, I feel like they've picked up form most recently, but even when the team was struggling, it felt like Smash was constantly putting on these solid performances for the team.
Yeah, looking absolutely fantastic. Kind of the prodigy that we were promised as we were all looking on during T1 Challengers. Gio, speaking of challenges, this guy, an absolute heartthrob of the challenger scene, coming up with Nongshim, having that incredible comeback victory to claim the title down there, but has since not been able to translate that into success here in the LCK. We'll see whether they can make the next step forward here today, as Korea, one of our youngest players that we have here in the LCK, and has really, like, I can't really state it enough just how much this kid has improved.
Yeah, the growth for Korea has been absolutely insane. You think back to some of the moments where he was struggling dealing with his emotions in these high-stakes series. Now is a player just brimming with confidence.
And on the opposite side of things, this is not a young player. Effort has been around for a very long time, has played on a lot of different teams, but he came into KT, and that is why they looked so good at the start of this season. I don't know what it was. Something just clicked, and they managed to figure it out. Effort, a large portion of that. We'll see whether they can find more of that magic here today.
And sometimes the right player coming into a team can just make all the difference, not just in their play, but in the team. We saw that last year with KT when Peter came in and the vibes instantly picked up. We saw that this year with Effort coming in, and then also with Sharble coming into DNS. There's a lot of times where the right player can just make all the difference to everyone beyond just their own role.
Yep, sometimes it's just the vibes. And as Effort was an esteemed member of the Bros, you know that he's just got immaculate vibes. That's just how it works. If you're a bro, that's just what comes with it. As you know, I mean, we were watching Umpty on the desk like only a few days ago, and it's just all about the vibes, really. So we'll see whether KT can leverage some of that. I think definitely the underdogs here today, but with everyone predicting against them, it has now given them a new lease on life to see whether they can once again buck the trend and take down DK here today. It would be so KT to do it, and would also be so DK to lose right here.
Yeah, and I feel like the fact those expectations are both going together could lead to a very chaotic outcome.
Or just a KT 3-0, if it's just straight with the, like, if the superstition plays out.
To me, that feels like the most
seems so unlikely,
most
right?
far-fetched situation. I think D+, the form they have been in, it's at least, at worst, I think it's going to a long series. But I think we saw a lot of predictions for 3-0s, 3-1s.
Yeah, I was in the minority with my 3-2 prediction. I just could not see these two teams not just kind of having a fist fight throughout almost this entire series. I think that drafts are going to be weird, wacky, and wonderful. KT have been prone to that. I mean, it's a CV Max team on the other side. They are definitely going to draft something very strange today.
I mean, the thing is, with Fearless, I feel like players have had such larger champion pools. You're practicing more things, you're ready for more situations. This is the time when you're bringing it out. When everything's on the line in playoffs, it's the opportunity to bring out those picks you've practiced, haven't really seen the window for. An example was Baron's Nasus against the Yorick.
Yeah.
We saw yesterday. You don't hold anything back in situations like this, so I'm excited to see. That being said, we are in game one. Nothing Fearless banned yet. Might end up being a bit more tame, and looking at the bans already, nothing too crazy coming out there.
And it looks like KT will not get their wombo combo that they've just been abusing game ones with, which is the Olaf Nocturne Rise with X bottom lane that hasn't seemed that relevant. They are going to ban two of those champions here. as DK do have that first pick opportunity, a little bit more flexibility here in the draft as the Orianna still has to be banned away in this field. Oh, never mind.
They leave it open, so Orianna going to be the pickup, I presume, for D+, and BDD clearly confident he can match it. May look towards the Syndra, we've seen him have a lot of success on.
Or the lock.
What is worth giving over the Orianna for? What else are you going to snap up in that follow-up? There is Lucian open, Lucian Milio, an option.
Yep.
That we could look toward.
I don't think it's worth it though. I think Showmaker and BDD, both of them are so good at Orianna that you cannot give it over to the other one.
Yeah.
As Ezreal insta-lock, this is Jiu's most successful champion so far.
Ezreal Jarvan as well. Jarvan has been really high priority, a great pick for Cuz, and also just punishing for mobile AD carries. And you just took the most mobile AD carry in terms of disengaging from that now.
All right.
Sid, I think Nefaria better matchup into Jarvan, but Xin Zhao a massive comfort pick for Lucid that he's very confident on. You also have the shields from the Orianna to bolster you. It's telling that KT banned the Lee Sin, which you've seen often as a pickup into the Jarvan, so definitely was set on this. Do you just go for the Olaf now? Are you concerned about having the Olaf into the Jarvan? Do you want to match AD carries? I think those are the kind of the two options here.
Yeah, it's a bit of a dangerous one. You could also just like slam a Karma or something like that if you want to. But I think the Olaf does make a lot of sense. Keep that bottom lane together and keep that hidden for now.
I will say, as far as champions go, KT have an Ezreal, Jarvan. Ezreal can arcane shift over terrain, which Olaf either has to flash over or run round.
Yep.
Jarvan, the Cataclysm can be a bit disruptive. So I think KT have some decent picks into the Olaf, but we've seen this pick still be a massive problem. And now, are you going to pair up the bot lane? Do you want to take something like Karma or Seraphine? Or are you going to pick something for Perfect here to match? If you want to get a counter and you have a specific one you're going for, you might need to grab it now.
The thing is, Ezreal lanes are pretty open-ended at this point, right? The Seraphine's there, the Karma's there, and the Bard is there. So they're not going to lock in a support unless this is support Trundle.
It could be Trundle
probably
top.
Yeah, we don't necessarily know.
So this is adding more terrain, but also Trundle was often the counter in the jungle matchup specifically into Olaf, because when he popped his ult, you just subjugate him, he becomes super squishy, and you just burst through him. So this
and
could
you also take away all of his AD. He's very melee.
Yeah, I mean, this could
kind of love it.
Another Trundle counter, Olaf counter that we're seeing Perfect bring out here.
All right, so Lucian going to be banned.
Yeah, Lucian ban I think makes a lot of sense. I wonder if D+ will look to either BDD or Effort. Do you want to target like the Karma? Do you want to target the Seraphine? Or are things like the Syndra more of a concern? And they will go for that Karma, denying some of Effort's picks here.
Yeah, I think Karma, Seraphine are probably the most likely bans in my mind, unless there's something specific that Showmaker doesn't want to play against, like an Akali or something like that. But I don't know whether an Akali necessarily fits all that well with what they have already. Lulu going to be taken away. An intelligent one there. Make sure that you don't have that Yunara issue running around.
Are you worried about the Bard at all? I think that could be the other one other than Seraphine that maybe you're a little concerned about. And KT can just give themselves last pick. You know, they can pick BDD's mid lane pick on 4 and then save Effort to the latest position, which I think makes it very comfortable.
Yep. I think the Bard pick away could come on through. I wouldn't mind banning a mid laner here, just so that you have Seraphine or Bard, and then you can pick up a Caitlyn Bard if the Seraphine is then locked away. But instead, they do just ban the Sarah away. So this could be a Bard pick here.
Yeah, I think it's either BDD's pick or it's the Bard pick. Syndra's the one that's in my mind in terms of something he's very proficient on. But there are obviously a lot of options open and available. Could also even look for something like an Anivia if you want to really play that like controlled sort of kite backwards.
That would be a lot of terrain, like so much terrain.
You're getting into like Minecraft territory.
Yeah, seriously, this is it's a bit much.
They will just go for the Syndra though, a BDD classic. Yeah. And now bot lane options. You can go K-Bard here.
I wouldn't mind it. Would put them in an awkward position in the mid game. I feel like DK would hit that power trough really hard with an Orianna and a Caitlyn together. But it is looking like that's where they're going to go. We'll see whether they can cross that hurdle when they get there. Can be quite difficult. So the Caitlyn Bard will be the lock away.
And it looks like we are going to be potentially abusing that returned hitbox with the Nautilus coming through.
All right, and it's Effort's most played champion by a massive mile. I think he has like more than 100 games ahead of his second most play on the Nautilus so far. Obviously, that is taking a little bit of a hit now that we are in best of threes in Fearless. So he can only play like 50% of his games on Nautilus each day. So rough.
Unfortunate.
Yeah.
Here, KT, I think the mid and bot matchups can be a little precarious. You gave Showmaker Orianna, you're playing a melee support into Kate Bard. So if the lanes play out without too much extra impact from Cuz, we could see D+ in a good position. But I'm interested in that top lane matchup.
Yeah.
Because I think Trundle should be very comfortable here. Just chomping down on the Olaf. At level 6, you'll get shredded. And I think it's going to make team fighting so difficult for the Olaf. Because we've seen so many games he just charges into the back line. You don't have the damage to cut through him soon enough. If you pop a Subjugate and you use the ult from the Syndra as well, he's probably just getting one shot.
Yeah, he's probably just dead. And so then you're going to be relying on Lucid being that only frontline. Tempered Fates are going to be so important. I mean, if BDD throws out an ult and Korea has perfect timing on a Tempered Fate, he could actually manage to save someone from death, but not an Olaf, because he will just keep running all the way through it. So this could be a pretty complicated one. Let's get onto the Rift for game number 1. All right, here we are, ladies and gentlemen, onto the Rift for game number 1, KT versus DK. The more you think you know about this matchup, the less you probably do. That's basically the tagline that I would probably go for if I was, writing a promo for this matchup.
It sounds pretty good. Double exhaust in the top lane, by the way, and it is lethal tempo for the Trundle.
All right.
So in those extended trades, Perfect can feel very comfortable.
And a bit of Conqueror here from Shio as well. I feel like we don't see as much of that. Unless I'm completely crazy and we actually just see it every single game.
See a decent amount. It's like you have Conqueror or you have Storm Raiders, just depending on whether you want to close distance in the matchup.
I feel like it has been a lot of Storm Raiders more recently.
I feel like it does make your team fighting a bit weaker if you don't have one of the movement speed options. It can be a bit harder to get into the back line, especially when Ezreal is so mobile. So we'll see how that ends up panning out. I mean, it's interesting because you have the Trundle, which is good into the Olaf, but also good into the Xin Zhao. And even though they won't be interacting as much as a jungle versus jungle matchup, you can still cause issues for Lucid.
Yeah, and see whether Perfect can share some chomps around for both the Xin Zhao and the Olaf in some of these fights as well. Try and neuter some of that damage.
He's also just a tremendous turret taker. If he gets alone time with a tower, he will absolutely shred it.
Not to mention, he's just so hard to move out of lane. King's Tribute is just kind of ridiculous.
Yeah.
And oftentimes we see the Trundle in the jungle, right? So he is healing off his camps and things like that.
24 health there for that cannon.
Yeah, every single minion that goes down is just donating health over to the Trundle over and over again. So this could be a tough one for DK to navigate. We'll see whether it is going to be Lucid heading up there and try and help out. But right now, he has cleared from top to bottom. And it might be the bottom lane that he actually attends instead. Showmaker here looking a little worse for wear against BDD. But he just wants to get as many of these minions as he can and scale up until later in the game.
BDD doing a good job here, getting the pressure down onto Showmaker.
All right, might be going for a bit of a cheater recall, but instead just going to stick around and continue to be frustrating.
Yeah, both have teleports, so it's not a major concern. Showmaker's looking for the reset, but a solid start for BDD so far here. Korea's getting an early roam up just to secure some control in the river.
Oh dear. Okay, she realizing that he's just not going to win an auto attack trade with Perfect. That is going to continue.
So that's Perfect a level down, and there was a big minion wave working against him. And he still heavily won that trade. The Olaf not looking so hot right now.
Well, the Trundle didn't look so hot last time we saw it when Dundun played against Zeus. Over 3 years ago, or about 3 years ago.
So we get the recall from Shiwu there, but the wave was in a horrible spot, and he doesn't have TP.
Yeah.
So he's missing a lot here.
Oh no.
Fortunately for D+, Cuz was in the area, he's now moved down towards the bot side. This is like a nightmare situation to be in. Have to push up this far on the lane if the jungler's there. If the enemy jungler's there, you're just getting ganged, you're just dead.
Well, there is a possibility that Cuz does move back, but right now, this wave is just frozen underneath this turret. And Shiu is going to try and break the freeze as best he can. Currently a wave behind, but that will likely just extend as he's going to struggle to pick up a lot of these creeps.
The thing is, if the Trundle hits level 6 first, and you just hit Shiwa with a pillar, you just have to flash. There's no other option, really. If you don't have the ult to sort of cancel out the slow.
Yeah.
So, Perfect's just holding the wave here, but it will bounce back. So Shiwa has kind of resolved the immediate issue, but is down in the matchup right now.
And that level 6 situation is almost a guarantee, right? Because Perfect did deny some experience, an entire cannon just going into the ether. So depending on when Perfect decides to go back, this will be a tough time for Shiu. See whether he can navigate it. As the pillar does go down, not level 6 just yet for Perfect. About halfway there, he's just chomping him, chasing him down the lane. Undertow connects. There is the double exhaust to come out from both of these top lanes. I don't think Shiu's dying, but Perfect has made sure that he's going home again.
And because he's on the top side of the map, Lucid is on the bot side. You can't stay around in a tower, otherwise you're getting dove. There's even pings coming here. So Shiwa has to leave. This wave is going to crash. And Perfect gets tower access to chomp on some of these plates. This is a disaster for Shiwu.
Oh yeah, he's already over 20 CS behind. That is only going to extend, and there's plate money now going into the hands of Perfect, who has that subjugation up and available. DK, I mean, at least the other side of the map is going okay. But I don't know whether that's going to offer them any immediate happiness here, as Gio is also like within touching distance, right? 200 gold is not the end of the world or anything like that when you're against double range bottom lane.
Yeah, I mean, Perfect was only sitting on a Ruby Crystal there and still had the advantage in the trade. Now, though, he's got level 6 and picked up a Sheen. This is where it becomes really scary.
Oh, man. It wasn't scary before?
It was less scary.
All right. That's a lot of damage. Effort is looking a little worse for wear after that Peacemaker. Smash and Korea probably feeling the pressure here, understanding that their top laner is just not going to be able to do very much. As Perfect just walks over, beats him a couple of times with this Sheen.
Oh, look at the wave again.
Why is it always so terrible?
I mean, it's because Perfect crashes it, so it bounces back. He's the one dictating the position of the wave right now, and she was just victim to the setup from Perfect.
Oh, thanks, Jonah Strong, for the cinematic zoom-in of the dredge line, but Effort doesn't quite find it.
So we have level 6 now for the Olaf. So she was a little bit better off. Lucius on the top side of the map, so he's got a bit of backup, but this top lane matchup's feeling very uncomfortable right now.
Oh, it is. So Effort as well. Not feeling the most comfortable himself. Taking a bit of damage from Korea and from Smash. As there is another one. And they are going to have Showmaker moving on up here towards his top side, going to try and help deal with this wave's terrible position, but instead...
I don't think they can crash it.
He's going to leave, yeah.
He just comes up, it stops Perfect from running down Shiwu, but Shiwu is still really low on HP and has to recall again with the wave in this position. This is a nightmare.
All right, well, I was looking for something to say, like, it's all right, it'll get better. It won't get better from here, I don't think. I think that it'll continue to be
they're actually
kind of horrible.
They're swapping out. She was moving down towards the bot side. They're going to reset and swap away from this. It feels like so much of DK's early plans have been around just trying to negate the pressure that Perfect has. And he's 30 CS up right now.
Yeah, 740 gold advantage.
Look at the wave state he's left topping, because he's swapping down to meet the Olaf, and he's put the wave in a position where G was going to be able to scoop up some farm here quite comfortably and help him out there.
And at least Chiu is able to get towards some of these minions, pull that advantage back just a little bit, grabs himself a plate or two. And D+ might have mitigated something, still doesn't feel very good.
I've noticed something that we haven't really addressed. I'll hold that thought.
Is it the Shockwave onto Effort here? It does land the dredge line. Aftershock keeping him alive there as well quite nicely, and KT will be absolutely fine after that play.
Yeah, do you get the flash from PDD? So that's something, and Cuz will pick up...
Oh, some flashes in. Great Cosmic Binding connects onto BDD as now they hold BDD in place. Showmaker takes the ulti, but he doesn't have a lot of mana left remaining. Lucid looking for some angles here towards Cuz and Effort, but BDD will be able to walk his way out. Not a lot left in the tank here for DK. As Smash with that ace in the hole, he's now tanking some grubs as Korea's Rotund hitbox comes on forward. Another scatter comes down as BDD throws out the ulti onto Showmaker, but First Blood goes over to Smash, and DK reveal that they do have a win condition in this game.
Finding favor there on the top side, and KT, honestly, they got one grub. They could have just left. They chose to stick around.
Oh, okay.
A little bit close there. They chose to stick around, and it worked against them. So I think D+ happy they're able to find favor there, and the kill going to Smash as well means he's got the biggest lead in the game right now.
Yeah, very important that D+ managed to figure that out because the game was just kind of falling away from them. Let's have a look at this one more time, though.
In this situation, BDD's very chunked out and struggling to get into the fight. The ult connects on the Korea, but then the step on the trap from Jiwoo, beautifully set up from Smash, allows him to take out the rival AD carry, and there's no way KT can continue that fight. So good moves from D+, good moves from Smash specifically, and he's approaching getting that first time completion.
Yeah. Only needs to put a few of these components together, and he will be very, very scary on this Caitlyn. And isn't ahead by too much farm, but I think plate gold and, of course, that first blood playing into this 600 gold advantage. Gold lead for Perfect, though, is now the highest in the game again, and they haven't really solved the Trundle into Olaf problem
I think
that has presented itself here.
There are games where even from behind, we've seen it happen, where an Olaf is behind and they're still just able to run rampant in team fights and have that impact. I don't think this is one of those games. I think this is one of those games where the Olaf runs in, gets subjugated, and dies immediately.
That's what it's kind of feeling like right now. Let's see where the Perfect is going to give us a demonstration. 2 levels ahead, by the way. Oh, God. Okay, well, it is 1 full level, at least. Jiwoo is about to hit level 8 off that minion, but still, it's a rough time. Another plate goes over to Perfect here, moving up to almost 1,000 gold in advantage. 0-0-0 for both top laners. This is just pure laning phase.
Yep.
And Perfect is dominating.
Once he gets that Triforce completed, it's going to be so tough for Jiwoo. Jiwoo going for the plated steel caps makes a lot of sense, but it means he's so far away from his first item completion. And the Triforce spike for Trundle is massive.
This is going to be such a difficult time. Still, DK have some power elsewhere, as Lucid doesn't quite find the Wind Becomes Lightning, as Cuz is lurking. Looking for an angle to move on over. He's actually moved towards the mid lane here. Might have found an inside track, as there are some pings. They are from KT, so... there we go. Finally does get pinged out, and that is BDD moving on down. Lucid does get Cuz out of there with his ultimate and actually mitigates a lot of damage with that Crescent Guard. BDD's now in trouble, just put into the bounce house as Korea going to interrupt so much with the Tempered Fate. Cataclysm, though, is still going to come through as Smash will finally make his way up. Peacemaker comes in, and it's a kill over to Showmaker. Jiwoo dives in, but the barrier's there for Smash, and he flashes out of the way, but Jiwoo is still going to be able to pick up the kill. Still, Showmaker now picks up a double, and Cuz lurking in this Dragon Pit. I don't know whether he's going to be able to take down Korea, though, especially with a Blast Cone here.
Yeah, I think the Chimes made Korea a little bit too fast there for him to close down on a good ult from Lucid, honestly.
Oh, perfect. Tanking a few turret shots that he didn't really want to, as there is the Undertows connecting. Will he be able to find another one to subjugate? Going to mean that she was just going to back away, respecting this Trundle to no end.
Yeah, Perfect though, a little bit overplaying his hand there, the turret hit, and also the power that the Olaf gets at low HP, helping him in that fight. But this ult from Lucid was beautiful. He knew Cuz was there, knocks him out of range, and it means BDD also can't immediately follow up with the ult just to take Lucid out. They end up taking out BDD pretty quickly, but in the ensuing fight, we see some trades back. They manage to kill off the Zinzao pretty easily. But with Smash moving here first, this feels really bad. And honestly, this was a delicate one from Jiwoo here. Does get the W down and the empowered damage, but I thought he was just dead before even getting the kill.
Yeah. Man. All right, and double kill for Showmaker is actually kind of massive. He completes his Rod of Ages now. And if the Orianna and the Caitlyn are both accelerated, then that trough that I was talking about that was going to be very difficult to play through given their top lane situation has been somewhat mitigated, especially if you have a look at the 1.1k gold advantage here for Smash right now on this bottom side. Is Jiwoo actually looking for an angle for him? Does have Cuz coming over. No flash. There is the Tempered Fate, but it's not going to be able to save the Caitlyn. Wanted to buy a little bit of time, but Smash does not stay in it.
Honestly, it was a good attempt from Korea there. Nearly catches Cuz, but after the flag and drag, he immediately cataclysms Smash. No flash, no way out. He goes down, and KT going to immediately look to pick up the Dragon here on the back of that play.
Yep, no Tech Soul here today. X-Tech and Chemtech both taken off the table. We'll see what our Soul is going to look like. I have a feeling it's going to be Ocean.
Oh my god, how does he do it?
Yeah, there was a bad vibe. I just felt it. At least maybe the next one's going to be better. As Jiwoo actually finding a lot of damage onto Smash before Cuz even arrives.
This ult was really nice with the net, because it nearly caught just Cuz and allowed Smash to disengage. But Cuz was immediate with the Cataclysm, gets himself out the Tempered Fate with it, and is able to disengage.
That gold lead has just disintegrated. Like, look at this. It's only 300 now. Smash makes his way back, does have his Storm Razor now completed, going straight for armor penetration, item number 2. Just kind of crazy. We don't often see it. I was expecting Rapid Fire Cannon to be rushed out. That 2-item spike actually feels pretty good with the Storm Razor.
I mean, he's going to have a lot of tanky targets he has to cut through this game.
Yep.
And I think just wanting to get online as soon as possible. We often see like the Infinity Edge second from Caitlyn's.
Yep.
I think this can make a lot of sense.
Well, it's going to be a lot about the combos, as he doesn't have a lot of attack speed built up just yet. Not even the Berserker's Greaves have been put in the back pocket, just some brown bags. As KT back in control of this game, 400 gold advantage right now, 1 Drake apiece, and only 1 kill behind. It is 2 grubs to 1 in favor of D+. Could be important moving into later in the game, where side lanes are going to be very important. DK being very, very good at just playing the macro around later stages of the game to give themselves money advantages.
So playing for the Herald now, setting up for this. Both top laners have TP available, but Xiu just walked up, found a winning to go up. I actually think for KT, you can feign a contest and just give it up and just let Perfect solo this tower in the bot lane. It's going to be so quick. They opt not to. They opt to TP in.
Yeah, he is teleporting in. Smash now moving on over. You got Showmaker pretty far away from this fight, but Xiu gets on top of Effort. The Ragnarok's being popped, and Effort is going to be able to walk his way out Tempered Fate to buy some time. And that gets D+ this Rift Herald. Lucid goes over, grabs the eye, and they'll magically journey their way out.
I think this is just the wrong call from KT. That bottom tower would be absolutely dead by now. Waves pushed in, and then your own wave crashing into that tier 2. If you just backed up, you would also have TP, not advantage, but you'd have TP alongside Xiu, so now you're down that resource as well. I just think the window wasn't really there for the contest, and you got so much by just opting out, but KT opted in for the play and end up paying for it.
Yeah, a bit of a weird one here, but now they're just going to look to try and kill Xiu on this top side. No Ragnarok available. The exhaust does come down as Perfect sort of loses interest in the Olaf, goes back to the turret. Flash comes out here, and Xiu is going to live, but the turret will go down. First turret blood over to KT as well. 1.1k gold advantage now.
So I at least think getting something from the fact that the Trundle is up here, but we see Showmaker on the bot side will trade back in terms of towers, so not too much concern for D+. Herald going to be thrown down mid.
All right.
Immediately going to take down the mid tier 1.
Yep. Nothing to interrupt it right here. So that will be Shelly finding a successful take of the outer turret. So 2 turrets to 1. DK moving the needle a little bit back towards them. But man, this game is so close, so back and forth. Smash, a big power point here for DK, but does want to get to 3 or 4 items before you're really feeling good on this Caitlyn, and can kind of be ran down by a Fed Trundle. Fed Trundle is one of these stat check champions that can just kind of eat you.
Yeah, I like that you said Smash was a big PowerPoint. Is Perfect more of like a Word document?
Yeah, I think probably like a spreadsheet.
Yeah. Oh, Excel we're going with.
Yeah. I think it's because more mathematical.
Oh,
okay.
okay.
Either you have the stats to not get eaten, or you don't.
That makes sense. You know, I see the vision.
That's what sort of was my idea anyway. I don't know who's the PDF. I don't know why we're just giving people the what are they called? The suffixes.
Yeah.
I just don't have the word in my brain. It's all right. Missing a lot of things from my brain these days. As Xiu is not missing too many of these axes. Finds that one there. Thank you, Graggy Ice. As now Xiu moving up this mid lane, looking to try and take some plates out of this mid-outer turret that is still standing here for D+. Giving Smash a place to farm, going to be pretty important here in this game.
Yeah, especially into an Ezreal, who we've seen a lot of situations where an Ezreal thinks they're invincible when they're in the mid lane and they can just play up aggressively.
I feel like you're subtweeting someone there.
Perhaps,
yeah,
but
okay.
Without your mid tier 1, you're not going to be as safe, you're not going to be able to challenge as easily. We do get second item coming in for Jiwoo and for Smash, so Mortal Reminder coming through pretty early. It's obviously a decent amount of healing from the front line with Sundered Sky on Cuz, Perfect with the Subjugate, but then Jiwoo close to having that 2-item spike stacked for the Ezreal with the Mana, and that feels so good. 15 seconds on that second dragon. It is just Notion, it is just second for either team. There's no requirement to contest this, but I think KT feels strong with where they are in the game right now. Confident around Jiwoo's spike, and especially with Perfect being in a great position, so they're setting up aggressively for this.
Yeah, KT on this one right now. Xiu does have that teleport up and available that Perfect does not have. And I think Xiu is probably going to elect to just stay in this lane and not fight for this, but it looks like DK are still grouped around this objective. It is going to go over to KT, and Xiu sticks in this top lane and is just going to put those couple of grubs to work as he takes down a few of these plates.
So I think this is a great example of D+ making the right read, thinking we're not in the best position to fight right now. It's just a second Ocean Dragon. We don't need to do this. And getting some plates for that Olaf, getting a bit of gold towards Shiru. This is kind of what I hoped KT would have done around the Herald. And I think D+ making a good pull. But now Shiru in a bit of trouble.
Yeah, just going to wander out of the flag and drag, though, so Cuz not going to be able to knock him up or get the Ragnarok out of him just yet.
Yeah, I think BDD not quite in range. Otherwise, they could have just Cataclysmed him and bursted him down. But the Syndra a little bit far away.
Now Cuz, a little bit dangerous to hit that ward when he could have accidentally taken a magical journey.
That would have been very painful, but also very funny.
Very funny. It doesn't actually happen. Effort over here as well. Looks like a lot of control around where this Baron is about to spawn in 12 seconds time, which is weird because I don't think they should go for a very early Baron, but they do have a lot of control in the area nonetheless.
I think it just makes sense to set up in the area regardless, even if you're not necessarily going to go for it. And we get Terry coming through.
Oh, I love a bit of Terry. Have I been getting it right, by the way? I've been, like, while I've been not casting with you, I've been trying to make sure that I work out these Barons properly. Terry's the one with the little like, thing out the front.
Yes, little wall.
Yeah, okay.
Territorial Baron.
Yeah, so there's more territory there.
Yeah.
And then Huni is just regular-looking Baron pick.
Yes.
And then Owl is the one that looks like the gun from Halo.
Yes, one issue we did have with Owl is people thought I was saying Owl. So me and Brendan extended Owl to Albert. It's his full name.
Ah, Albert. Okay.
Yeah, so...
Fair enough. I mean, I have to admit that I did think that we were saying Owl the whole time.
Okay, well, yeah, that was the issue.
Yeah.
So now Albert, you cannot make a mistake with.
I couldn't.
It's also a great name.
I also didn't think I was making a mistake before.
There we go.
I thought it was an owl because they had the vision and stuff like that. They could see quite well. You explained it on the cast. Am I being gaslit live on broadcast? Is that happening right now?
No. I'm not trying to. I would never do that to you.
Okay, fair enough. Well, Al it is. Sorry, Albert, but I thought that you were a bird this whole time.
Yeah, Albert. There we go. It's a great name.
Yeah, I think it's good. Now we've got Terry, Albert, and Huni.
Yeah.
All right. Lucid is just going to be moving towards KT right now. Looking a little bit like he's taking some damage. Q landing a lot of these abilities. Orb comes down, Flash has to be used. Lucid gives them the good old thumbs up as he limps his way out of there. Nice little play here from KT.
I always say this about Trundle. It's one of the things I love saying, but I feel like so much of Trundle's kit is very simple, and then the pillar is just such a high skill cap ability where it's like the placement in the two axes is just, if you get it precisely right, you can just cut people off, you can lock them in place, you can even knock people up. They can get airtime if you pillar them in just the right spot, so...
someone's reminding me, by the way, Ox, that Albert is actually a character. He was the host for the Honkai Star Rail special programs. So there's still confusion.
Oh.
Because even if you say Albert, it could be Albert. And we won't truly know. Thank you so much in chat there for letting us know.
I think there's a limit, you know. I think I'm doing as much as I can to make it clear.
All right, we'll just try and very... forcefully pronounce the fact that it's owl.
It's also the fact that I'm from the UK, you know, we leave out T's all the time, like water and bottle. Bottle of water.
Yeah, I do like that.
Yeah.
It's different to Australians. We just kind of slur everything, and instead of putting spaces between the words, we put the letter R. I actually read about this. That's actually what we do. We just, like, in order to get from one word to the other, we just put an R in the middle instead of just not saying anything. Which sounds like more work, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But no, apparently it makes it easier to just navigate your way through. So there you go. If you wanted to understand the phonetics of the Australian accent, there it is. Tempered Fate going to come down onto BDD as they look for the angle, but Flash somewhat mistimed, but they do manage to get BDD's Flash, and that is exactly what they were looking for.
They're going to BDD's Flash. Honestly, I think it's one of the biggest summoners you can actually get for D+. The fact that now you have this immobile Syndra, there's threat from Tempered Fate, Shockwave, just the Olaf in general makes BDD's life a little bit more uncomfortable going into this next Dragon fight. Would be third for KT here if they can secure it, and they are setting up the vision very aggressively here, despite having their Tier 1 turret available to D+. The other one's kind of growled in and pressured here.
I think this is a great one to also not go for. I know it's Soul Point, but DK, they don't have 3 items on Smash. He's only got a pickaxe towards his Infinity Edge as well, and really wants to hit Rapid Fire Cannon before he's really going to be all that happy fighting. Not a lot of magic, not a lot of attack speed here on this Caitlyn right
TP
now.
flank coming in.
Okay, they're looking for the angle regardless. Into the backline they go as BDD. There's that flash they picked up earlier, and he does go down. So 1-for-1 at the beginning of this fight. Let's see whether Gio can land some of these pot shots. Some good mystic shots so far his career. Not exactly looking great, but now Showmaker taking matters into his own hands. Gets the flash up, and now the shockwave is on cooldown, and he could be in trouble. Does just dash cannon his way out. Cuz now being escorted out of the area as well as Lucid wants to get on top of Gio, and they are just moving forward like a freight train. The knockups come through, but now Smash gets turned on, finds the net, and he gets out of the way. Cuz not in range of the Caitlyn either, but still D+ will go down. And yes, Smash will survive, but he ain't fighting anymore.
KT finds such a good angle, despite the fact they lose their mid lane in a 1-for-1 trade, and a lot of resources are expended trying to keep BDD alive. They still manage to find this great approach to this fight, so there's just so little BDD can do in this situation. Everyone moves in to help, and they do shred down the Olaf, but BDD was a sitting duck. But as this fight continues to play out, you know, there's this initial hook from Effort, which even though it doesn't catch Showmaker, it forces so many resources, the Rocket Belt and the Flash coming out, him and Jiwoo putting that threat down, and then as the fight continues, Lucid is trying to get damage down, be a big threat, but it's once again, it ends up being Effort who is able to aggress forward here after the Tempered Fate. Actually, it wasn't even Effort, it was Jiwoo who got that damage down. Then they just ult Lucid, they shred him 3 versus 1, Smash has to back away. So I think Jiwoo, honestly, doing great work there.
Yeah, and the
Smash and Showmaker.
I feel like the Tempered Fate really kind of worked against DK, right? Because it allowed the Nautilus to go into stasis and then gave this Trundle and Jarvan combination the ability to get that flank set up once again. And they weren't able to just pick off Effort and continue moving forward. Still, DK quite strong and didn't lose everyone in that fight. Smash staying alive. A big deal, but now Jiu, like you were talking about, was great in that last fight, now has 3 items and a gold lead on this Ezreal. And we mentioned it already at the start of the day, like this has been his most successful champion by a mile, by almost infinity.
I mean, he's so strong right now, and this game going so well for KT already, even though these teams are just one place apart in terms of standings. We hit on it before the series started. D+ have been the best performing team in round 3 and 4. Above even Gen G. They took down Gen G 2 times, they took down KT 2 times, and yet KT having the advantage right now in this game will take down that mid-tier 1 tower, and D+ are just there to watch.
Yep. So inner turret, outer turret does go down. Lucid looking for a bit of an angle here. See whether he can find it as he gets on top of BDD once again, that flash. Now back off cooldown as Zephyr gets into the front line. Aftershock doing a fair bit of work. The flag and drag gets Cuz out of there. The Tempered Fate this time is much better. And down goes Effort as soon as he comes out of the stasis. Nicely played, but it's 1 kill for that turret.
Yeah, not a great trade objectively, but D+ able to pick up something.
Objectively, I get it.
Yeah.
That was pretty cute.
I think what was fun as well is we saw while this fight was going on, so Lucid trying to aggressively force on a BDD, and does end up getting BDD's flash, which is a great pickup once again, but he kind of just has to back away, he doesn't have more gas in the tank. I love how Shiwu and Perfect are 1v1ing, and we just see Shiwu pop ult and run away. It's a great call, but as you said, the Tempered Fate really working out this time to catch out that Nautilus, who's very squishy, very vulnerable to D+'s damage, and Smash did just pick up the Infinity Edge, so Showmaker with a Void Staff as well. These carries are definitely online right now.
Yeah, and I feel like now is when it's a great time for DK to start fighting. Unfortunately, they started a little bit too early, but I am very proud of Korea for immediately finding a much better Tempered Fate than he's won around that Dragon Pit. Speaking of dragons, 2 minutes time until that one's up again, and 28 minutes on the clock. Still haven't really seen much of an attention put towards this Baron, even if it is only Terry. It's not as scary as Huni.
I will say though, if you end up in the Baron Pit and there's like a Cataclysm or a Trundle Pillar that goes down, you could just actually be trapped.
That's true. You are opting into a lot of terrain.
Yeah.
Could be a frightening one. Shot barrage. Yeah, that's a lot of damage.
So I think the big thing for me is the fact that Jiwoo's flash is coming up pretty soon, but BDD's will be down for this fight again. Shiwu doesn't have the teleport, because obviously he took exhaust, it's a really long cooldown. But if they can find a way just to delete BDD from the fight, it's going to make things so much easier for them. Obviously last time it didn't fully work out, but Showmaker and Smash are a lot stronger right now. They have that penetration, they can cut through the front line a lot easier. And unfortunately for BDD, not quite on that Rabadon spike yet.
Yeah, very close though.
Did just see PDD TP mid. I think he wants to pick up this wave, and hopefully, for KT's sake, that gets him to the Rabadons. But if he doesn't manage to complete that, that's going to be a big deficit to be in.
Yeah, 40 seconds time. I don't think he's going to be able to, as Xiu is on a very deep flank. As Perfect is relatively close to it. There's the flash forward from Korea. Tempered Fate is going to land on the only effort as Xiu taking a lot of damage. Lucid does manage to get in there, finds Fjordacious charge, and then the Peacemaker comes down. Now Perfect in that front line, taking a bit of damage here, but DK just running them out of the river. And 4 versus 5. I don't think KT are going to stand a chance in this fight. They're just going to have to try and back away as best they can. In goes Xiu, but the pillar is going to block him off. Perfect just denies it. The flash out of the way, but the Unleashed power comes on through. Now it's an even 4 versus 4, but Lucid goes down. The death cap be damned as BDD picks up a double already, and Perfect, he will claim the King's Tribute for his mid laner, and KT will also claim the Ocean Soul.
They kill Jiwoo, they take out the opposing AD carry, and once again, it just doesn't matter. Last time it was BDD down, and KT still won the fight. This time it's Jiwoo, and still, they win the fight. And Korea goes for this, I mean, it doesn't get the stun, but the slow, and then the shockwave ends up connecting Jiwoo. Doesn't flash out of it, goes down, and KT just kite backwards. Just take the time, keep moving away, and D+ are trying to aggress them. They're not happy with 1 kill on the Dragon, they want more.
This pillar is insanity.
It's so good, it perfectly blocks the choke, so no one can help him, and the shred for the subjugation means BDD can just burst him. Then it's Lucid, the only frontliner against 4, and that combo effort to guarantee the death of Smash, also brilliant. Just excellent play in a 4v5.
우리 팀?
Yeah. And Xiu just realizing that he wasn't necessary for that particular play, but that's why it was so impressive, being able to do it without their Fed Ezreal. And now BDD, not only does he pick up his cool hat, he also gets another stick that he can build into something else. This Syndra is just kind of out of control at this point in time. They have a Baron, and KT are starting to run away with this game in a big way. 4,000 gold their advantage.
Yeah,
I mean, still 2.5 minutes left on this Rebel Baron power play.
Cuz has the Death Dance, BDD has the Rabadons, Perfect just finished the Jack show. They are so strong right now with the Ocean Soul as well. You know, in these longer fights, you're going to really feel that sustain start to come through. The only Grievous Wounds is on Smash right now, but you're not going to be able to apply that to everyone.
Yeah, I think you're going to need a little bit more than that. But KT going to start with this inner turret towards the bottom side of the map. That does not last very long. No contest here available for DK. As Cuz just lurking. Finally, 4 items completed here for Smash, but it just feels a little bit too late at this stage. Endless Hunger is done here for Gio at the same time. Really heaping up.
There is something pivotal that is coming up.
What's that?
And it's a KT D+ game.
Oh god, I think I know. Do I need a spatula?
Could it just be the Elder Flip? I think you do.
Okay, okay. I did make sure that I brought my kitchenette with me. So there is a spatula in there. Just thought that perhaps it'd be required. I thought it might be because of the drafts would require some cooking.
I see.
Apparently, we're just making burgers here in game number 1.
And the thing is, as much as KT are ahead, they're in a great spot. Don't get me wrong. They're not far enough ahead that I think the game is an absolute slam dunk, especially when you're seeing the spikes coming through for Smash.
All right, they're going to look for Perfect here. Let's see whether they can take him down. The Shockwave pulls him closer as now Showmaker can get that orb into position. They get another round of spells, and down will go the Trundle. That is a good move back, but we weren't seeing this, which is the entire base being brutalized. On the other side of the map, the inner turret does fall down in the mid lane, but they trade their top inhibitor for it, and that is the inhibitor right near this Elder Dragon that's going to be spawning in 3 minutes. The inhibitor will be up in 5 minutes. It's not good math for D+.
The thing is, I can't criticize it too heavily, because I think going for something proactive, rather than just slowly letting your inhibitor be taken, I think does make sense. It's not an ideal trade, but you know, they get a tower, they get a kill. They managed to get that Rabadons completed for Showmaker, and they didn't have to invest any summoners themselves, so that goal lead down to 4,100 now, a little bit lower than it was before.
All right.
And now we're hinging on this big moment. Notably, BDD has picked up a Banshee's Veil.
Yeah.
That spell shield, a ton of value.
And Showmaker just completed his death cap as well. So both of our mid laners are very strong here in this game.
Yeah.
We don't have Magic Pen here on BDD just yet. That might mean something, but there's not exactly a large amount of tanks that have been stacking a lot of that stat.
You also do have a Trundle, if there is anyone tanky, just to kind of give you that penetration.
Stop them from being tanky, please.
Yeah.
Oh, perfect. Level 18. 3 items already completed. Doesn't have his Spirit Visage. I feel like Spirit Visage is a pretty good item on the Trundle. Has gone for the Jack Shows and the Hysterics instead. Looks like now could be a Death's Dance, could be a Guardian Angel, as that pillar almost killed Lucid.
It's such a fine line, knocking them towards you or slightly away. I remember in an extended sort of siege situation for KT, they have the Ocean Soul. That's really going to favor them, really going to help them out. They can just stall things out and sustain up. Poke not as relevant for D+.
Yep.
Still a minute 20 until that Dragon. But I don't think there are any major item spikes that can be completed, unless Shiwu can maybe get Death's Dance. That could be a big one. I think that's the closest item we are seeing right now in the inventories. So maybe if he can recall now and pick it up, that could really help him have some impact.
Might be able to turn the tides. He might be going back for it right now.
This item is insane on Olaf.
Well, does he have enough for it?
Yes,
he does.
Big pickup.
Korea going to flash out of the way. Must have had the Magical Journey on cooldown. Wasn't able to use that to get through the Cataclysm wall.
Yeah, it's just coming up now. You can see in the bottom left.
Yes,
so didn't have it. Getting a flash is always good. It's only a bard flash though, so it means Korea can't be as aggressive with those, but I think not the biggest concern for D+ right now. Cataclysm not quite available yet though, is ticking away. It's good poke, but Smash has a Vamp Scepter, so we'll just be able to sustain up.
Yeah, some shrines go down from Korea there as well, so not actually too much to be worried about. As KT are just trying to keep them pushed in as much as possible. Face checking this team is so rough, and Showmaker completes a Magi Soul Stealer. Like, man, do you know the state of this game? That is so much confidence. I love it.
In terms of what can you buy right now for the big fight of the game, it's only 6 stacks, but it's a decent buy for the money he has.
Yeah. Oh my god! All right.
And if he gets 1 kill, he goes to 10 stacks mid-fight, so can be that payoff. Shiwu pushed in bot lane and has rotated around. There's no vision on his path right now. He is completely undetected and he's on this big flank.
Yeah, DK, they have position as Shiwu is going to get caught out. The exhaust goes down and he manages to find it. The flash over the wall, but another flash gets Shiwu into the pit. There goes the Trundle, though. Top lanes are traded. Effort down so incredibly low. Finds the dredge line, but is going to find his death at the same time. DK, they're up 1 in this fight as Shiwu. Oh man, they cannot step on these traps. It's just so scary. Smash does so much damage. And Showmaker, he's going back.
Look at the base.
Yeah, the base is in a little bit of trouble. They're going to lose 1 Nexus turret.
Oh, that was so close.
Yeah.
So Showmaker does have TP, but has to respond to this. Remember, the Ocean Soul just means KT can hang around as long as they want. Korea is still low on HP.
Oh, Lucid going to go in. They're going to look for this one. Teleport is up for perfect 25 seconds until he can come back.
If Lucid stacks up the Q on the Dragon, could just jump Jiwoo. Remember, he has no summoners, but it's such a delicate position to be in. TP's going to come in now.
All right, they're committing to it. Let's see whether they can win this 50-50. Spatula's at the ready, ladies and gentlemen, as Career is over that wall. Lucid goes in, they're looking for BDD. Slam dunk on the jungler. And now DK, they have to win this fight. Look at the Elder Dragon, it's down to 2K. And Cuz will get the smite. There's the Elder for KT, and perfect. Makes his way in, puts down the pillar there as well as he's taking a fair bit of damage. Showmaker trying to get out, and DK, I don't know whether they can ever keep themselves alive here. The flash out of the way from Smash, gets himself the shield from that Command Protect, but Korea is eaten by a dragon. And KT Rolster, I mean, the enemy inhibitor respawn, but I think they'll be able to claim that one again.
I think it's going to be so hard to defend from KT right now. The pillar is such a big threat. If Perfect throws it down, you get hit by a bit of poke, you are just dead. D+ need to make that last stand, but it's a tough one.
Yeah, 1 Nexus turret left remaining. True Shot Barrage comes in. Fighting against Elder is hard at the best of times. His effort will go in. He goes down, but he's looking for their targets as Smash needs to stay alive. But KT will just eat this Nexus and move to 1-0 in this best of 5. And ladies and gentlemen, it was a unanimous DK prediction for this series, and already it's looking like the roller coaster likes those odds.
I think Jiwoo and BDD on two of their most comfortable champions right now, having a big impact. But for me, that counter pick off the Trundle, so relevant.
Oh yeah.
They do so much work, the pillars, the subjugate. And I think so often we saw KT winning despite being down a member. BDD dies, they still win the fight. Jiwoo dies, they still win the fight. BDD with that huge achievement of 3,000 kills. And then even in the last moment, it was a 4v3, not in their favor, and they managed to secure the Elder and the game.
And BDD managing to beat his ex-teammate to that 3,000 kills milestone as well, as Ruler was only 2 away from it. Is going to be playing very soon, but not quite yet. So BDD is going to be the second player to ever reach those 3,000 kills. Very, very cool stuff. As KT, look at that goal graph, man. Like, it was neck and neck for so long, but like you were talking about, this Trundle counter pick, absolutely fantastic, but also just the way KT were able to keep up with what has been brilliant macro from DK so far over the last couple of rounds here in the LCK and in the International before that in EWC. We're going to go to a short break, ladies and gentlemen. When we get back, the space going to break down that game number 1, and then we're going to continue this marathon of a series. 5 games, baby, let's do it again.
얘들아 싸우 10초야. 파워 좀 쳐줘. 파워 쳐줘.
내가 성각 볼게.
우리 노플이야. 우리 노플. 끝내만 해보여. 어때 보여?
끝내만해. 거리를 보자.
나 올라프 그래 뺄게. 올라프. 야 올라프 올라프.
올라프?
타워 우리 잡고 있고. 상대 나와 얘들아. 상대 나와.
타워.
나이스.
우리 친친 우리은행
Red Bull gives you wings. 쓱싹 씻고 바르고 깎고 깎고 면도 쉽게 가자. 부드럽게 쓱 매끈하게 싹 면도 쓱싹 해치웠다. 질레트 랩 스팁 클렌징 바 쓱싹 씻고 바르고 깎고 깎고 면도 쉽게 가자. 부드럽게 쓱 매끈하게 싹 면도 쓱싹 해치웠다. 질레트 랩 스팁 클렌징 바
when I was a player, if I was to like make a misplay, maybe it's my mouse, maybe it's my armrest, something feels wrong. If you were at home, you wouldn't do that.
The Infinite Precision Armrest is part of the larger Circulab on Stage standard initiative, aimed to bring your home or training room settings to the tournament stage.
이제 저뿐만 아니라 다른 선수들도 세팅을 더 원활하게 할 것 같고
가장 편안할 때 더 강력한 플레이가 자연스럽게 나옵니다.
Every sky's a line I've drawn. Cut by cut, mark by mark, my name forever in the stone.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the space for the Wooribank 2026 LCK playoffs. Degon here alongside Wolf and Wadid. And let's remember, 15 out of 15 votes went the way of D plus Kia. Some of those votes were 3-0s. And they're already thrown out the window because KT have other plans.
Yeah, that's me. I predicted DK 3-0 and I'm done. And you?
I'm a 3-1 predictor.
Right.
I'm still safe, feeling very, very safe. Not feeling safe, actually.
Let's take a look at the draft after that last one, also a 3-0 predictor. As it feels like one of the things that jumped out, the Ezreal. It is Jiwoo's best performing pick so far, especially after getting the trade.
Well, what's so interesting about this, too, is that they go for jungle and then they get the counter pick top because of the Olaf. It looks like Perfect has really been putting in the time on this pick. Based on the performance we saw from him, he looks like he's been grinding this as a preparation for an Olaf blind. So they drop the support. We often see the Ezreal with the Bard or the Seraphine for KT Rollster, but it went all the way to the Nautilus at the end because they pushed that Trundle through. And when I saw this in the draft, I thought, okay, this might make an impact, but we'll see. But when we saw what happened on the Rift, you could really feel how much time he put into this and how well this worked. And the sacrifice in the draft was absolutely worth it.
Oh yeah, he had such an insane gap on the top lane. He almost had the 50 CS difference between those two champions. And it already happened in Alpil several times. And it looks like the matchup is just that good into Olaf here.
That's right, just a couple days ago by Hoya for NIP. So seeing some of that tech in the LPL, Perfect putting it to use against one of the hottest picks in the top lane and does wonders here as we take a look at some Drake setup here, 23 minutes into the game.
A lot of this game was about KT just out team fighting the side of D+. And you can see here, it's a bit of a trade on the other side of this fight. PDD gets burst down, but it's a trade for the Olaf. And That's not necessarily a fair trade here for D+.
Yeah, and I think Jiu did such a great job on zoning them out with his skill shot. He shifts in and tried to force Showmaker out with his flash, and now they just do not have enough damage.
Yeah, and unfortunately here also, when they try to go back in, it's just not really very clean. Watch this Tempered Fate that saves effort. It's just kind of a disaster here. D+'s coordination all over the place. Showmaker on the other side of the fight can't make an impact. It's just run down by Cuz, who made a miss in the early part of the fight, but is still alive, still relevant, gets his cooldowns back, and nobody can get access. Jiu's initial play that pushed Showmaker out, though, was the big one, as that's what started the desperate play there from Career when he went for the Tempered Fate.
Yeah, again, huge play there by Jiu, who's stepped up a lot since joining KT after finding that win against the Bros to make it to this point. This was a lot of resources to put into a guy to have a play like that. So then what does the team do when Jiu dies first, which is what happens here in our second play?
Yeah, here's the moment where Jiu does not have flash for another 10 seconds. That's why he even like he dodged the Temper Fate, he's gonna still die. So here's the point where like DK chases them down, but Trundle Pillar like works really well here. So like they can't really deal a damage even though they are actually up in the number here.
So for some reason D+ decide to force through here, and Ragnarok doesn't let you walk through pillars as it turns out. It looks like Shio is learning this in real time as he just doesn't have the space to get through there. Flashes super late and then dies, and then D+ still try to fight to the choke point. We don't often have the conversation about concave, convex, but when you are the ones fanned out on the other side of a choke point, guess what? You're going to be the ones doing more damage. You're going to have more value in that type of fight, and D+ just tried to hard force. They had so many advantages, and it was just shut down by a single pillar, just period.
Yeah, and also at the end of the fight, it was really great re-engage from effort as well. So it was really just like good team fight from KT overall.
Yeah, D+ gave them an angle, KT took it, and then that meant, all right, so Ocean Souls on their way. Now it's Elder Dragon fight down here, and this was quite a dance between both these squads, ultimately going the way of KT.
Initially here KT have the prio, but Jiu is on a flank angle. This forces a reaction, right? Gets on top of Jiu here. CC immune. Jiu plays this really well. Is able to get over 2 walls in the fight with an E and a flash. Pushes the Olaf out. Now it's D+'s time to try to make a desperate play.
Yeah, the fight still extends, so like DK is just looking for another opportunity to reach them here, but the issue is that they misplay once again on the Orianna Xin Zhao combination. So the point of Orianna ulti, like flashing in combo, is that you have to like press Orianna ulti beforehand and then flash into it, so you can actually just like
it makes it much
flash
more
on top of it.
Yeah,
right?
it makes it more difficult to react because you land on top of them as the shockwave finishes. But we'll see here what actually happens in actuality is they try to have Lucid flash first with the ball on top. So watch this here. He's looking for the angle. And then this gives BDD the time in Shockwave animation to actually flash away. There's a lot of interactions like this in League of Legends where, you know, you want to actually set up the combo mid cast. Like, for example, Jace with Shock Blast. You put the acceleration gate up after the Shock Blast flies, so there's less time to react to the speed up as it goes through the gate. This is another one of those combos. BDD just instantly reacts, scatters them away, and that was the last chance they had in that fight to win it, get Elder, and get back into the game. They lose it instead.
It was not a single time that he actually dodged that combination. It was that second time in the same game. So I feel like DK just misplayed so hard on that combination, and I think that made a huge difference into the game here.
Yeah, game one, we get to see the draft wrinkles, but also getting to see how the gameplay really matters. The smallest moments matters, ultimately goes the way of KT. They're up 1-0 over D+ Kid, despite many of the predictions. And is the roller coaster on the way up? That is the question.
I'm excited.
Oh! He did it! He did it, chat! Boo him! Boo this man! It's 1-0 KT Rolster over D+ Kid. Let's see what happens in game number 2.
Thank you very much, Digon and Wadid, making it 2 days in a row, saying the illegal E word just to try and preserve his predictions. Shame on him.
It's disgraceful, honestly.
I just
want
not
to
very
apologize
nice.
to everyone listening. We've actually had internal meetings about this. There was a clear rule about saying that word.
Yeah.
We were very against it. Everyone.
I think we're going to need an apology from Wadid.
I think so.
Probably directed towards Law, who is probably watching on, being like, come on, man. We needed as much help as we could get as KT fans in a series like this. It's not looking like that though right now, as they are up 1-0, and we'll see whether DK can even the scoreline or whether it's going to be a very early match point being picked up for KT, as once again, D+ will have first pick. They'll be on the red side and KT back on blue.
And we'll see what they look to prioritize and get in this first pick. The fact that they got the Orianna, and it still just wasn't enough. BDD doing a great job in the laning phase on that Syndra, but not really seeing... I think one thing with the Orianna as well, so much about the ball delivery system, and I feel like the bar just wasn't quite hitting for me in that game. Some of the tempo fade's not the most value, so we'll see if they opt for something a little easier to play this time. So far, Ban's starting in the same way, but I will say Orianna gone, Syndra gone, Cassiopeia banned. I was going to say Rise priority moves up, and KT go, yep, it does, we're banning it.
Yeah, and so going to be banned on the other side this time. We'll see whether they want to angle towards a Vi first pick or whether that is going to be banned away. It's Lucid. I expect they will not ban it. They will try to pick it if it's left available. But with one last flexible ban potentially up here, will they be taking away? Yeah, another jungler. The Pantheon is going to hit the deck. With the Pantheon ban instead of Lee Sin, though, maybe they're going to be looking for the Lee. Could be an interesting one.
So if they
Lucian
ban
could be
the
taken
Lucian
away.
instead, so they kind of say, we'll give you the Vi, but we're going to take the Lee in response. Lucid has said in years past that he believed he was the best Vi in the LCK, very confident on that pick, and he will lock it in immediately.
I mean, this used to be just a guaranteed win. Anytime Lucid picked this champion, it was especially true in Challenger, but then immediately afterwards as well as, all right, Kalista Renata to be slammed here by Geo and Effort.
Instantly throwing that down and kind of calling that a challenge to Smash and Korea.
This is kind of crazy, though, because, like, Lulu Yunara is up, like, so many of the combos in the bottom lane are still up available.
Seraphine is a possibility. Are they going to secure the bot lane now, or are they going to take solo lanes and risk it? I think I would probably want to be safe and just pick bot lane, and it looks like they're going for the Ziggs for Smash. We've seen mages really fall out of the meta, and they changed their tune.
All right.
They might end up going for the Ziggs later. We've seen Ziggs Jace be pretty popular, but Jace something that can just outrange. You know, when you pick Kalista Renata into a Vi, you want them to dive into, you have the sort of counterplay with the hostile takeover. Jace just doesn't opt into that. He's going to shock blast from a distance, poke you down, you're not going to have a fun time. And they commit to that poke-based style of play, assuming they lock this in with the Jace and the Ziggs in tandem.
Would be interesting. The Talia is another option here. Does make Kallista's life very difficult, as you just put rocks on the ground and she struggles to bounce through them. So Talia and the Talia Vi combination here for D+. Something that they have liked for a very long time. CVMAX especially, big fan of combinations with the Talia.
Yeah, makes it very difficult for Jiwoo to play out some of these later situations. In Rival Day is something that really has to be skidded around. And I think just allows the Jace to function well. Even if you picked other dive picks to close the distance, the Talia is going to make that a bit tricky. Now, we've often seen Ahri as the go-to into Talia because you can ult and get all the way around that Unraveled Earth. You can attack from different angles, challenge with the charm. And I think KT know that they're going to have to find a way to get onto these backline threats.
And now a lot of junglers are going to get banned away here, I assume. So Cuz will have to dig deep, I think, looking for his option here in this game.
Yeah, I think I imagine like Lee Sin and Neferi make a lot of sense to ban away.
Yep.
Lee Sin, a very popular pick, obviously, but Neferi specifically, a great matchup into the Vi. Are you worried about the Ziggs? Are you going to ban that away, or do you think the hovers would just kind of...
I like the Victor ban a lot. Actually, like, Smash has been so good at this champion, and he's been able to use it to dodge lane quite a few times.
So it could be Talia bot lane as well.
It definitely could.
That's a possibility. So this Talia pick really keeping things a little bit open.
I don't know whether Smash was one of the ones that actually played the Talia on the bottom side of the map. We know that Pays definitely played it more recently, but I can't remember.
He does have a game on it.
He does have one, okay.
And he won that game because the pick is 100% win rate over 2 games.
All right, so one of our Talia players. So theoretically, it could be leaving Showmaker's hands. I find it weird, and it's a similar situation with the Victor. Showmaker is so good at both of these champions. Giving it away seems weird.
You could move the Talia down bot lane, and you could pick something like the Annie or the Lissandra into the Ahri, which would also be really hard for the Kalista to play into. Because obviously the Ahri was picked with the expectation of playing into the Taliyah. That could make things very difficult. I wonder if that's the game plan by Showmaker here.
Might be an idea. And it does then put that Kalista in the bottom lane. I actually think the Kalista bottom lane was picked into... Sorry, the Taliyah bottom lane was picked into Kalista.
Yeah.
In the past as well. I think that's where that really fancy draft that T1 came up with the Rumble mid.
And it's just going to be the Lee Sin, it seems like. Nope.
Oh,
okay, I think this is a good change. Because I think picking the Lee Sin when the Taliyah's there, you'd probably feel pretty uncomfortable. A lot of dashes into the Unraveled Earth. But going for the Skarner instead, that has some creative angles you can approach from and lock people down.
Well, yeah, Alistair could be a bit of fun. I think we've seen this one in the past, as Korea looking pretty animated. That is the Annie that you were talking about. So it looks like that flex for the Taliyah towards the bottom side of the map is going to come on through as Showmaker picks up the Annie. That's a lock as well. What the heck would be happening if that was locked in? That would be weird.
Annie makes a lot of sense. I think the lock is just a hover. The Annie into the Ahri, a lot of value here. This is a lower DPS composition though, so the Skarner is going to be very bulky.
Wait.
Could this be support Lissandra all LeBlanc? This would be kind of crazy.
Are we just going back to the Tabe days and it's support Annie? No, it's not. It's just career locking in an Alistair.
When the mandate changes came through, a lot of our players were playing support Lissandra around that time, but in the end, they just go for the Alistair. A defensive lane with the Taliyah, kind of keep, just don't trade with the Kalista Renata. Don't let them approach on you. Just clear waves, play defensive, and have value in team fights. Now KT need to figure out what they're playing in the top lane.
Effort, can you hover Nasus for me? I need confirmation that you're you.
The Rumble Skarner combo, pretty potent. You can kind of hold them over the Equalizer. But
yeah, the kebab combo.
I think honestly here, KT are in with a tough time because that mid lane matchup you were happy about, it's no longer the case. She was going to have pressure in the top lane. The Kalistas, this is a nightmare game for Kalista. There's so much targeted CC or things like the Unraveled Earth. I think D+ have really got themselves into a solid position with this draft. The only thing I'm a little concerned about is if they fall behind, they don't have that much DPS in the composition.
Yeah.
And if Jiwoo starts to get tanky, if Cuz starts to get tanky, you might find it a situation where you put a full combo into them, they don't die, and then they just win the extended fight.
This is fun drafts, though, coming out of both teams. I always quite like watching Kalista Renata drafts. There is a lot of teamfight prowess that you can really exhibit with a combo like this. Hostile Takeover is a lot of skill expression here in this game. We'll see what Effort can do with now a lot on his side. He can also feel free to play a lot more further forward with that Fate's Call safety you have available to you. And PDD on the Ahri, even though it is not the matchup he was expecting, I think could certainly still carry this game. So an opportunity here for KT to reach that match point. Cuz on the Skarner though, we'll see whether he does get punished. We've seen Skarners really shut out of games in more recent times. But D+ cooking in the draft this time around. The Taliyah on the bottom side of the map. We'll see how it's going to go into the Kalista that was picked very early in this draft. Game number 2. Is it now just a best of 3, or will DK need to reverse sweep? That is the question, as there is a lot of anticipation, a lot of build-up, and we're going to have a slight delay heading onto the Rift.
I got to ask you a question, man.
Please.
We're in playoffs, right?
Uh-huh.
Who's coaching D+?
CV Max.
And what do we have in the bot lane?
Taliyah.
It's not Taliyah Pantheon.
It isn't. That is correct.
But it is the Taliyah.
Wait, thankfully it's Fearless, right?
Can't run it back.
We can't have it 3 times in a row.
No.
And we definitely couldn't have it 4 times in a row because they lost all of those games. Although this was Griffin in like 2019. They can't live it down. I think we bring it up every single year. Oh, I'm so sorry. All right. Okay. So a bit of a stage equipment issue here, Cuz struggling a little bit with something. And so we will make sure that we get that all sorted out. And then we'll get onto the Rift. As KT fans, I think cautiously optimistic. And D+ fans, they're trying to think of as many words that start with E that they can be.
I think the Trundle pick in Game 1 definitely made things difficult. It was just cool innovation by KT, and obviously something that'd be played in the LPL.
All right.
But for D+, I think this Taliyah bot lane might be what they need.
Yeah, and it is now time to get back into the game. I think Cuz has sorted everything out. And here we are, ladies and gentlemen. It is time to get back onto the Rift for game number 2. See whether D+ can equalize the series or whether KT move to match point.
판사의 협곡에 오신 것을 환영합니다.
All right, I apologize for speaking over the KT fan chants just a little bit there, but I will try to be better in future. And for now, we're going to see junglers pretending to be mid laners, and otherwise not too much.
I can understand you talking over it because I think you just got a little bit passionate.
Yeah, yep. Not starting with E, though. I am, yep, one of those things. Passionate is a good one.
Yep.
And now all of my internal thesaurus only has the letter E in it. It's one of those things, you know, like they tell you not to think about an elephant, and all I can think about is elephants.
Elephant does also start with E.
Oh no! See? See what I'm saying? Even my examples are just still the problem.
Oh.
That's all right. We got a bit of a battle here towards his bottom side. Is Smash just running away? Korea dealing with all of these Ren stacks that Gio has put inside him.
Not a fun time in the early game. You know, Clister Renata level 1 is very strong, and I don't know if you've heard this. This is a little bit of new information here.
Please let me know.
Alistair level 1, actually not that good.
Whoa, okay.
I don't think this has been mentioned on, honestly, maybe any broadcast before.
No, I don't think so. Not ever.
It's definitely LCK.
Not in my recent memory. It doesn't start with E. His name starts with A, so that's just not in my brain
It's
right
not
now.
Alistair.
Yeah, although it could be. Maybe in my head I can just
think
call
we
it
need to
Alistair, and then I'll
focus
get
up
that
a little bit
back.
before talking about what names start with. Max, we're falling for this trap.
Oh no, yeah, people have been upset about that in the past. Jace is in the game. Gio's in the game. All right, at least I've got off E. Now I can get on to J. That's that. Thank you. You've opened doors in my mind.
There you go. I think something that's going to be really important is BDD's impact in this game, because him getting good charms, getting value of that is going to be really important. Because as well, this mid jungle is not a combo that is particularly sort of threatening. It's not one that you think of where it's like Vi Talia, where they have a great way to combo off each other. But there's a lot of CC setup, and I think getting either the Rumble or the Clister ahead will do a lot for this game. The problem is right now, playing the Ahri into the Annie, you are just getting harassed quite extensively by Showmaker.
Yeah, Showmaker having a good time in this lane so far. And Gio and Effort currently 0-1 on these picks. Says that this is Smash's first pick, but has actually been picked up elsewhere. I believe it was in EWC or Road to EWC that he was able to play this one, as Lucid's moving on over, looking to pay BDD a visit.
Actually, that might have been it. You know, I said he played it. He has played it, but it might have been the LCK.
Yeah, so it wasn't in the LCK, but that doesn't actually matter.
Yeah.
Still showing that he does have the experience. Seismic Shove connects onto Effort. He takes a fair bit of damage, but Smash is going to be punished for it.
So this
Still,
isn't
that
actually
turret shot comes in.
Too bad, because Smash does have the teleport, so getting chunked out isn't the end of the world. Oh, Lucid is looking.
Oh dear. They do get the information. Vault Breaker's charged up. The flash in, first blood over to Lucid's Vi.
Beautifully played, and so often in these lanes where...
Oh, Seismic Shove.
That is not a fun time. Smash is out of mana though. Crowd's coming in top.
All right, let's see whether they can get a flash out of Shu up here towards his top side, as he is getting flamed down and doesn't actually have to press that flash button.
Yeah, good restraint there. Cuz had to use his E to get over the wall. Didn't have it to stun Shu or bring him back further into the lane. And things going really well for D+. Already a 1,100 gold lead. Top lane is ahead. Jungle got that kill. Mid is ahead. This is a phenomenal spot.
Yeah, this is
the game with.
This is the biggest gold lead that we saw until about 25 minutes in the last game, as it was neck and neck for about that long. DK already off to a fantastic start, and this early on, it is incredibly meaningful with these first buys starting to come in.
So many times we see both mid laners have TP, you chunk them out, it doesn't really mean anything. I love finding this window to punish. Lucid goes in. They only have to commit one flash as well. You'd have been happy if you both flashed to get that kill, but because Lucid got close enough and BDD didn't respond in time, Showmaker trades his flash for that kill. A very worthy trade. It means BDD is punished for the pressure that was put onto him into the lane. Now, I will say BDD's approaching 6. Showmaker not having flash puts him into a bit more of a vulnerable spot, so we'll see if they can act on that at any point.
Yeah. Because now just wandering around, throwing rocks towards Lucid and things like this. Don't have much information about that Banana Brush, but did manage to get confirmation that there was a Vi lurking. Level 6s now available for our solo lanes as Lucid gets in there. Good Vault Breaker connect onto Cuz, who will get his drive off. Still there is going to connect onto BDD, and now his trade is not working out for KT, but Effort does get the inside track, moves himself up, creates that numbers advantage alongside Gio as they get control of this dragon.
Yeah, and D+ should not contest this at all. Oh, it looks like actually KT are backing away. I was going to say, Skarner very tanky on the objective. Callista's so good at setting up for it, but they don't pull the trigger right now. This is the place, though, where you often lose games against the Callista. When you opt into one of those early river skirmishes, you just don't have that much damage between like 3 or 4 members this early in the game. And when you try and focus down a target and the bailout comes through, you just get it turned around on you. Now, though...
Oh, there's the flash in. Effort has to flash away immediately. Takes one turret shot as Gio does layer in a bit of Ren damage. And now Cuz over this wall should be able to start off this Drake. DK really finding some angles here towards his bottom side. Is now Hex Flash available for Korea. He's looking to head back. We'll be able to teleport back to this lane.
Always nice when you have Hex Flash and you can trade it for a real Flash. Well, I mean, he didn't trade the Hex Flash for it, but he unlocks his Hex Flash. Effort doesn't unlock anything. His Flash being on cooldown. He also has Spellbook, so Korea being down his Flash is not a major concern. That being said, Effort losing Flash isn't that much of a big deal when he's about to have Gio hit level 6 and have that Fate and Sealed to keep him safe. Fate's cool, actually. Fate and Sealed's the Yone one, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. I knew it was Fate.
There's Tempered Fate, there's Fate Sealed, there's Twisted Fate, there's a dude called Fate.
There's so many Fate-related things.
Yeah, there's just a lot of Fate going on. There was a school Fate that one time in my primary school. We had one of those. It's just, yeah, a lot of Fate options. So don't worry, it's not you. There's just a lot of different ones. Perfect and Shoot doing some battle here as a couple of Harpoons will connect onto the Jace, but he's got a Hex Drinker already completed. Shiu is very, very pleased with his position as this Jace in this lane.
2 plays already picked up and a CS lead, so Shiu very happy. Obviously had a tough time last game into the bundle. They're doing great now, and I think we're at the point where KT's bot lane are just not really going to be able to do much unless Smash and Korea really mess up. Very hard to aggress onto this duo. And even if you do find a window, Korea can just headbutt you away.
Yeah. And I think teamfights are going to be where DK become very, very dangerous. And I kind of like the idea of playing this sort of composition with a Jace. Like, you have a pseudo kind of AD carry on your team, so it doesn't feel quite as weird having the mage in the bottom lane.
It also just means you have that poke to start layering down, so when you're in these standoffs where KT are looking for a position to engage on, you're not just sitting there waiting to be engaged upon, you're actually getting value, getting Shock Blast down, chunking out key members. We might end up seeing situations where an objective is taken without any fight. It's just poke is done, KT established that they can't fight it, and then the objective is taken, but that's for a bit of a later time right now, because starting on these grubs, he'll be the one to back away from a fight with Lucid.
Yeah, he's going to be able to take one of them, so they're one apiece right now. Lucid wanting to
smite comes up
fight.
sooner though, so he might be able to get back in and get the final grub.
We'll see. He's still lurking in the area. As Lucid realizes this, he's just going to back away. So that is going to be the grub secured by KT. 2-1 in their favor this time around. As DK retain 1.6k gold advantage. A lot of that is the fact that this Jace is continuing to be incredibly far ahead on this top side. The shoe is really on the other foot when it comes to this top lane matchup this time around.
Yep, and honestly, I'm not surprised that this top lane matchup is going to go back and forth depending on the picks, depending on how the game's set up for them. Both of these players, very talented.
Oh yeah. And BDD, once again, just taking a big old combo here from Showmaker. Having a very good time on the Annie, 500 gold in the lead himself. Wanting to get towards that first item as soon as possible. As we are, oh dear.
That is not ideal.
You know how there's sometimes replays that you want to watch because cool stuff happens? That's the opposite of one of those.
Yeah, I don't think D+ saw that at all though, so don't have the information that Gio is down flash.
All right, so no timer, at least.
It'd be very funny if they try and like predict his flash, or you know they're waiting for him to go for the flash and like,
yeah.
Such restraint. How does he hold his flash for so long?
Lucid's gonna go in for a gank in the bottom lane and Vault Break a flash to predict a flash, and then he's just not gonna be there. He's gonna look very, very silly.
Yeah, Lucid's gonna be like, he just mind gamed me so
hard.
Yeah,
exactly. Gio is joke's on you, buddy. I did that on purpose, just to make sure I couldn't flash, even if I wanted to. It's all right. Shiu is just continuing to be frustrating here towards the top side. Steel Caps is going to help out for Perfect, but largely a defensive choice.
Yeah, we have Dragon in the minute 15. Both top laners opted to teleport back into lane, but it's been Shu who generally has the priority. So if he ends up pushing the wave in, can start to move down and look to assist with this Dragon setup, he's setting the pace of the lane and has that freedom.
And it's going to be an Ocean Drake coming up second here. So only Chemtech really is not the greatest of options, but still could be very valuable on either side. Just not necessarily, like, there's no Olafs here in this game. We don't have the Trundle situation where you would get a lot of value, like Mundos and stuff like that.
A bit better for KT though, when you'll have some tankier, like even Calista gets a bit tanky, but like Perfect Shield gets buffed because it will be quite tanky, Effort Shield. So I think at least they get a moderate amount of value, but definitely not the one you're hoping for if you end up stacking those dragons. Right now, D plus 2,000 gold up. Maybe fishing for BDD here. If you can burn his ult before the fight, very hard to see KT contesting this.
You can see Lucid just lurking. They've got so much vision. What the heck? All right, doesn't look like KT are going to have much of a chance of going towards this dragon, as Lucid will be discovered. Effort just wanders his way in.
I mean, it's so powerful
Okay,
to be able to walk in as a Renata because you know you have a Calista on your team. So you can just walk in like that. Most enchanters cannot do such a thing.
Nope.
And would risk dying. Now, we do have first item completions for both bot laners. Blackfire Torch for Smash, Static Shiv obviously huge for Jiwoo. We did get a Sundered Sky for Lucid, because with the Protoplasm Harness first, which did get nerfed a few patches ago to be a weaker first item, it was a bit squishier than he would be.
Yeah, he's going to take a lot of damage here. Showmaker could be in a bit of trouble as BDD dashing on forward. There's the Impale onto the Annie. Gets handshook as well, but Korea with the ultimate running. Cease and desist gets a lot of CC down as well as they just execute this Callista. No bailout available. And now without the 80 carry, it looks like D+ will be able to secure this dragon.
I feel like maybe not having the flash there did hit Jiwoo a decent amount.
No! Don't bring it back up! Pulverize here as well onto Effort, but he'll be fine.
Lucid just beeline straight for him, able to take him out. They have the numbers advantage. They're going to get the dragon off the back of this, and D+ feeling very good about how that panned out.
I'm wondering if there was like question mark pings or whether DK were like, why didn't he flash?
Yeah.
Oh, it is a Chemtech Soul.
Oh, well, at least it's one apiece, so no one getting a big advantage from that. But, so interesting thing to me, Showmaker holds his flash for so long and just ends up, even gets charmed, even gets impaled, and then even after that, doesn't end up flashing, just walks it out. And then Korea gets a big pulverize here, they layer it with so much CC, Jiwoo does not get to play the game, and unfortunately, I think this is signs of how this game is going to go.
You're gonna see it from Showmaker's perspective as well, just telling him to play slow.
괜찮아. 봐줘. 나 풀 있어. 풀 있는 거야. 나 풀 있는 거야.
He's like, it's okay, I have flash. And we knew that, and he still does it.
더 가.
All right. Gets themselves out of there.
Holds it, which is crazy to me. They're probably thinking the same thing about you.
I wonder whether Showmaker just flashed on the spot as well.
Showmaker went into the fight and said, look, if Jiwoo doesn't flash, I'm not flashing either.
Yeah, fair enough too. I will only trade my flash with the Callista. And thankfully now he can, as Jiwoo will have it back up and available. Someone needs to warn Jiwoo that in fact he does have it back up and available. Do not press the button.
I think a big thing is going into that fight, Showmaker had the Malignance completed and BDD didn't. And the amount of damage you just get from slamming Tibbers down and it being in the fight is very relevant. So now D+, almost 3,000 gold ahead already in this game.
There's that Tibbers being thrown down yet again.
Ow.
And the Malignance on the ground. BDD down to 50%. Lucid lurking over the other side of this wall.
I mean, this matchup has just not been fun for BDD. And how the flex be strong. 50 gold though, so you know, you'll take those.
Exactly. Showmaker does at least get 58 from that cannon. But he is feeling pretty happy with how this lane is going so far, even though it has now moved to the bottom side of the map. Almost a 3,000 gold lead here at 14.5 minutes. And I think DK certainly passing the laning test with this composition thus far. And I do feel like this comp just feels better and better as the game goes on, right? Like an Alistar that gets out of the laning phase is always going to feel way better than you did when you were in the laning phase, right? So
Especially,
there's a lot to look forward to.
A big thing is the fact that Jace is ahead. And nothing's really happened in top lane. It's just been solid laning from Shiwu having the pressure. And remember, Perfect picked Rumble into the Jace. We've seen other options do better in that matchup, but he opted out of those, went for the Rumble, and is now over 1,000 gold down.
Oh, Korea was looking for an angle onto Jiwoo. This time he presses the flash button, gets himself out of the way. Korea actually, his movements looked confused. He was like, oh, so the Kalista does have flash. Okay, there we go. Now that at least they've got that timer for themselves.
And both teams setting up for the Herald. Jiwoo being flashed us obviously a bit of a pain point, especially since nothing was committed from D+ other than Korea's health bar. And I think he just picked up some honey fruit to balance that out. He's now looking for an angle here on a BDD.
Yeah, can also wrap around and try and grab Cuz here as well. Feels like a bit of a fork that DK have got for themselves. As Lucid in the back of this pit right now. You can see Shiyu playing aggressively towards Perfect as well. Will be able to interrupt any teleport attempt, but they're both going to be teleporting in. There is going to be the Rift Herald taken by KT. The Fate's Call comes out as Korea with that Unbreakable Will doing so much work. A brilliant seismic shove comes down, but the Equalizer is there from Perfect. He picks up the eye, and the Kalista is able to grab a double in this fight as well. Showmaker getting a lot of damage down as Jiu trying to get himself out of here. Perfect doing the same thing, but he will not be successful as the Rumble is now on the floor, and Showmaker wants to roast some Scorpion. We'll be able to get a bit of damage on in, but it looks like Cuz will be able to get towards the safety of this turret.
And honestly, even though so many people got hit by that hostile takeover combo, it just wasn't enough for KT. BDD did not get to play the game. And I think this is just the power of the D+ composition. You pick someone and say, nope, you don't get to press buttons this fight. We saw here, BDD goes in and then gets knocked up here by Korea. The other members of KT disengage, but then just look at that CC chain.
No. Yeah, he wasn't able to do anything.
They then get impaled into the hostile takeover. The Equalizer was a little off though, actually. And Jiwoo does manage to get a kill in return, but it's just not enough. I feel like if you don't have the momentum of the Ahri in these fights, it is really hurting you.
Yeah, it did feel like the Equalizer was in a good spot, but obviously wasn't doing nearly enough as DK had pushed a little bit further forward than it. So not quite able to get the value as KT fall a bit further behind. 4.2k is a sizable lead pre-20 minutes.
Yeah, I think with this deficit, with the fact it's just a Chemtech Soul, it's a dragon apiece, you do not fight for this dragon. I would much rather see KT put their resources on the top side of the map, maybe look to pick Shiu, who is flashless, and pressure that top lane tower. I feel like that would be a better use of their time.
We'll see whether they opt in for that one, as right now they're moving towards this bottom lane. Cuz get some information about what this dragon is up to. And you can see Lucid moving on over to see whether he can answer it. Banana Brush control comes in here for DK. And I don't think the KT are going to commit to trying to defend. Will just be a shove in, and Dragon Control being picked up, although that is a lot of damage onto Lucid, down to about 50%. As Perfect with his Leandri's now completed, he's doing a fair bit when he does land these harpoons. Okay, D+, they're going to back away as well, playing it very safe in this mid-game right now as Shelly pops down. I think maybe that's what DK were respecting, the ability for KT to use that Battle Herald as, all right, the Weaver's Wall to try and block this attempt, and it's going to work.
Oh, nice, well played by Smash. We see Cuz try and turn it around, but unable to do so, so no charge from the Herald. It does give KT position on the Dragon though, but they have to fight their way out from this position.
Scry's Bloom coming on over. Looks like it might be a 50-50 as Korea making his way in. The Unbreakable Will at the ready. Let's see whether he can get the team fight he's looking for. Handshake comes down. That is KT securing the Drake as Lucid taxis his way forward. Another seismic shove, and this one is cataclysmic from Smash. Takes out the bottom lane immediately. The Rumble, nothing to do. And yeah, you might have got a Drake, but you've only got the Fox Lady left alive.
Beautiful approach to the fight from D+. Just felt everything was layered so well. Didn't give KT a hope in hell in the 5v5. They got the Dragon, but I don't think anyone really cares.
No, I don't think so either.
The loss of the tier 1 tower as well. They might lose the bot tower too. There's objective bounties up, so we see them secure it with the Kalista. But this approach here, I think, is so beautiful. We see Lucid fly over, instantly ult the Kalista. That's the person who decided isn't playing the game this fight. But then this flank from Showmaker to follow up is just so good. Uses the Q to stack the passive fully, and then ults both the Rumble and the Renata for 2 clean kills. Just great play from D+. The engage was so well done.
Yeah, and I think they straight up did not care about that Dragon. Like, it was Vault Breaker into ult from Lucid. His smite button was not something he was thinking about whatsoever. Making sure they could get on top of Jiu, lock him up with the cease and desist.
It's a 7,600 gold lead.
Yeah, this game is over.
It's about to hit 20 minutes, and it's crazy. And I talked a bit about how this KT composition, if they're ahead, if like the Ahri gets fed, the Kalista gets fed, could be a different situation. That's not the case. That has not happened. They are in a rough spot, and I struggle to see them making a lot of headway into D+. They have to start getting smart and creative with how they play this game.
Yeah, and they do have the tools to do so, right? Hostile Takeover can be a ridiculous ability if it catches DK in a choke point.
Here's the thing with Hostile Takeover.
Oh, yeah.
What normally happens is you Hostile Takeover, and the enemy fed AD carry starts killing all their teammate. What AD carry?
They need to make sure they hit Shiu with it.
They do. He's the best option, but
he's just going to get some grasp stacks off his teammates.
I mean, the Hostile Takeover is still going to be very valuable for the CC it provides, but no longer is the Smash just going to kill all his teammates.
Yeah. Maybe Lucid will get some work done, but yeah, Smash is not exactly going to be what you're worried about. Unless he has his, yeah, no, it's just not going to work. Never mind. Shiu is able to complete his Manamune, and might be more of Malmortius completed next, but he might just go for something like a Serpent's Fang to come through after that. We were talking about shielding before, and there are some options there as the Weaver's Wall comes down. Smash not going to be able to find the Seismic Shove this time, as KT will be able to get themselves out with their flashes intact.
Yep, good move from KT just to disengage from that. To be fair, I think Cuz very hard to catch out with a wall, and Jiwa was near enough to grab effort, but good move to negate that play regardless. D+ have pushed their vision line very aggressively now and are challenging KT to contest it.
And able to protect this control ward as well.
Yeah.
As Cuz not quite able to get on in there, and so they'll keep this line, making it very dark around the Baron Pit. Not going to be a chance for KT to get any vision over there. They are pinging it. They want to be able to know what's going on. And they know that no one's on it right now. They've got enough vision of the players on DK, but they'll make things dark as they push these waves in. And an 8,000 gold lead. Like, even if they do manage to try and contest this Baron or something like this, it's going to be so hard. The turn from KT will be so devastating.
Honestly, I think they're just hoping that D+ do start the Baron and then in range when it happens, because that's their best way to kind of counteract the current gold lead is, you know, you get these big AoE CC and damage ultimates while they are in the pit. But unless D+ opt into something like that, I think it's very hard to beat them in a straight-up fight. Dragon in a minute 10. KT not in really a position to fight this. I think they should just let it go. But I've said that many times before.
Yeah, I want to take this moment to sort of step away from this game just for a second.
Okay.
Because I do want to say, this is exactly the meta state that I wanted the game to be in as far as mages in the bottom lane are concerned. Find an angle where it actually works as a punish, and that's when it's useful, instead of it just being the thing you're supposed to do. And I want to just take this moment to congratulate the Balance team on figuring out how to do that.
I think it happens so often that a pick is taken late in a draft or late in Fearless and has a ton of value, and then people realize it is very strong and start to push it more and more up in the draft priority. A good example is Olaf. Originally, Olaf was picked very late in the draft. Now he's being pushed up and he's getting blinded. We're seeing a lot more counters to him. And I think it's, sometimes these picks lose power the earlier they're picked in the draft as a result.
Yeah.
Whereas a late Olaf isn't something we see anymore, but would be very hard to deal with. So I think this concept of mages in the right spot, especially when they're flexed, is a really powerful tool to have. But I think people were rightfully a little upset when it was just mages every game.
Yeah, when it was just Victor versus Syndra every game, I'm okay with having some AD carries back in some of our games. As Jiu is on this Soul Point Dragon,
so they're
trying to
going
get some
for
sticks in. Yeah, KT are really committing to this one as Lucid gets into the back of the pit. Oh no, Effort's going to get headbutted back. There's the face call, sees an assist. The combo comes down yet again. This time the bailout will come off. It's a pretty good use of the Impale there as well, but it's just not good enough. The cow goes down, but I don't think DK really care about it. Cousin Perfect trying to run away, and it's a triple kill for Shiu.
And it feels like D+ were so hopeful that KT would opt into this fight. The positioning they had to set up for this dragon fight was so good. The fact that Lucid was on a flank, and then Showmaker was an even deeper flank. It just meant there was no options out, no way to disengage. The fight gets lost pretty quickly, and D+ about to pick up their first Baron of the game.
Yeah, and first of the series as well. It's DK in a brilliant position now. Looking to see whether they can get this snowball truly moving down. Almost a 10,000 gold lead, pre-25 minutes. We call that a shellacking over here.
You can see on the minimap both Showmaker and Lucid flanking, but Lucid gets in first, and every time he's ulted someone, Smash has been there to follow up. Jiwa survives. for a while, actually, and it looks like he might be able to fight his way out, but just gets punched by Lucid and taken down even after the reset. And Showmaker was here on the flank, stopping the Rumble from doing anything, being there to cut off the escape for BDD, who did have flash, but wasn't going to flash over the wall into the Annie. The approach from D+, just completely cutting off the lines of retreat for KT. Very intelligent, and gives them a lot of favor in that fight. 10,000 goal lead now, and I think everyone watching this, and perhaps KT too, are just looking at Game 3.
I have a feeling that that might be the case, and it means that we have a tied-up series as well. A best of 3 to see who is going to move forward in these playoffs.
Oh, and Showmaker did pick up, he bought the Medjais on 8 stacks, now got enough stacks to get that extra movement speed with that assist he got onto BDD, so an Annie with movement speed is terrifying.
And also a Showmaker that's buying back-to-back Medjais in a series, that's also terrifying. There is some confidence right there being demonstrated from this man. And right now, splitting on the top side of the map, he is 3,000 gold ahead. That is a very large advantage, but it's not even as big as what Shiyu has. There's just a lot of money on DK here. 12 kills to 3, 5 turrets to 0. KT, I mean, their backs couldn't be closer to the wall. In fact, I think they're frozen in Carbonite right now. They are part of the wall.
There's been objective bounties for a while. I'm not sure KT are going to get to see them.
No. What are objective bounties?
Oh, the enemy turrets, they have a gold trim about them. That's cool. That's neat. I don't know what that means.
I think it just means that they're the bad guys' turrets, and those turrets are better. They've only taken 1 plate. There's 1 plate down.
Wow. That's not much.
No. They did at least get a couple of grubs and a couple of drakes. So we're not talking perfect games or anything like this. But only 1 plate to be taken is just crazy amounts of map control.
Is every game that KT play a perfect game?
Yes. Every top lane is anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, the Trundle game, pretty close to being his name and the thing that he was doing.
We've had this so consistently, I feel like, in our play-ins and playoffs in the LCK, where Game 1 is a stomp. I'm like, whoa. But also shake things up, and then Game 2 is like a stomp in the other direction.
And it's KT as well. KT have done this in their last like 5 series, I swear.
Yeah.
And they've been doing it a lot of the time with like Olaf Rise and things like this. But the Rise is being consistently banned in this series. But it has nonetheless just been the same thing. But yeah, DK definitely looking like they're not going to be giving up this advantage. 2.6k, 2.7 on the Rebel Baron power play as now Fate's Call can come down. They're going to see whether they can grab Shiyu out of this top lane, and they will be able to secure that kill.
Big pickup.
They'll sacrifice their inhibitor turret in the bottom lane in order to do it, and possibly mid lane as well. Although they defend mid, and it looks like they're going to defend bot.
Yeah, they actually saved them both. So I think a good play from KT, just as the Baron was timing out as well. They find this pick on a Shiyu. A big bounty goes over to Jiwoo. And the gold lead's still massive, but getting gold under that Callista is the best route back into this game.
Yep. Needs to build that Terminus as item number 4 that Jack shows is already done.
Yeah, there wasn't much vision coverage on the route that Effort and Jiwoo took. So maybe Shiyu should have just backed off, played a bit safe until that was sort of re-established. I assume it was cleared out by Effort, but either way, gets fixed. Doesn't bear the flash, which is the right call there. You were just very dead.
Yeah.
And I will say, with it being a Chemtech Soul, I just think the Chemtech Soul value is pretty low for D+. It does mean KT can comfortably give up these dragons and just wait. Just play the slow game. Now, I do feel like it's not like that composition scales fantastically, but they're at such a deficit right now. Avoiding fighting is the best thing you can do. You know,
yeah.
It's like a Hextech Soul. You'd feel pretty bad about giving this dragon up, but I think you can just accept this one.
And it's only soul point, right? Like, you don't really care too much about this exact one. Maybe the next one is going to be more of a worry.
I think if it's a really strong soul, you care quite a bit about giving over the third one. But, I mean, it's not the soul itself, but it kind of makes it very hard to keep them from the soul. But, you know, Chemtech Soul is fine. They can live with it. It's not the biggest of their problems, of which they have many right now.
Yes. Smash has 4 items completed. The Rylai's feels like cheating a little bit because it's so cheap, but certainly feeling fantastic on this Talia. And 10 stacks on the Dark Seal. We'll see whether he also creates the Forbidden Book.
Double Medjais could be the thing.
It could.
You remember that game? I think it was Alliance years and years ago. It was back when we had the AD vision with Sword of the Occult.
Yeah, Sword of the Occult, yep.
They all built like Medjais or Sword of the Occult.
And did they have a tank that built Leviathan as well?
I can't can't remember. I think it was just those at that time. But they all built them, and some of them built both of them, and they were so far ahead.
Yeah, that was my favorite. I played Akali, and you just rush Magi's, Sword of the Occult, and Leviathan, and you just hope you get fed. Otherwise, you're completely useless.
That sounds like a beautiful way to play League of Legends.
It's gorgeous. Sometimes you gotta let the heart of the cards do it. But that first kill really felt like something. You know,
the amount of stats you'd get from that one.
You get a lot of stats from that one kill.
Oh yeah.
And it was sort of the Occult that gave you movement speed as well. You didn't actually get it from the Magi's back then. I think you got something else, can't quite remember. I think it might have been like cooldown reduction at the time. But a bit of fun. That was definitely a long time ago though. As sort of the Occult lasted a little bit longer than Leviathan did. That one definitely left the game quite quickly.
I love how mages still get all the fun stuff. Like,
yeah,
you know,
why is that?
They have Zhonyas, they have Banshees.
Probably because they
have
complained
Magis.
so much when the Deathfire Torch got removed. You know, like everyone was really upset.
Deathfire Grasp?
Deathfire Grasp.
Yeah, they're still making up for it.
Why am I this is because Wolf got confused about the Blackfire Torch, Deathfire Touch thing the other day, and now
so
my
many.
brain is broken. Also didn't start with E. I'm just going to go back to that one.
Black Torch Grasp?
Yeah.
that's an item, right?
Yeah. Ekfire each.
Yeah.
That one. Shiyu has hit level 19. Showmaker was 18 for quite some time. 206 on this Annie. This game has slowed down, though, quite a bit. And it looks like DK are just going to head over towards this Baron, see whether they can take that one down. Nice little ward here. It does give KT a bit of information, but they are never getting here.
D+ are just kind of respecting KT. Don't need to overplay the hand. They're not on a timer. They don't want to overstep. They'd rather pull KT outside the base before engaging, as there is some nasty counter engage on KT.
Yeah, Headbutt Pulverize does come in. No Seismic Shove in place, but now Showmaker does find the Rumble, and down he will go. There's that Seismic Shove that we were talking about as Smash just rides the wall towards KT. Pulverize onto only effort, and the Fate's Call is still there. So KT will be able to keep the rest of them alive, but Perfect not so lucky, and KT now with a man advantage and a purple buff to start pushing these lanes.
A lot of poke coming out as well from Shiwu, and I feel like they're in such a comfortable spot. Those bot and mid inhibitor towers are very low already.
Yeah.
So easy pickups there. They'll start taking down that mid tower.
Yeah, that one's going to go in an instant.
With the Crystalline Overgrowth as well, once it gets to that health, it's just dead in a single auto.
Yeah, and also with the amount of AP that Showmaker and Smash have, they are doing a lot of damage to these structures regardless of their lack of AD carry. Not to mention if Jace ever gets up to this turret, it will just go down.
Yeah, once upon a time you needed an AD carry in your team because they were the only ones who could kill towers, but that's just not the case anymore.
Certainly isn't. And so Inhibitor in the mid lane is going to go down. Top lane is also going to fall as now Cuz looking to make his way in. The Equalizer comes down as Perfect has respawned. Handshake is pretty decent here as the hostile takeover does manage to create a little bit of a problem. But Giu is now going to get closed in on by Lucid. Trying to find an angle here as effort is so low, but they do manage to take down the Vi. And KT! They've been able to find the team fight they were looking for as Smash trying to ride that wall and throws his rocks into the ether. I don't know what that was, as he is taken out as well. Only Showmaker left alive.
And considering we just praised D+ for their patience, they overstep. They fall into the trap. KT get the engage off, and when it looks like a couple of members are going to get picked off, they go further. Smash is super low on mana here. They set up this engage with the Fate's Call. Effort then grabs the Jace and hostile takeover, so you know the Jace is dead here. But Lucid flies in, and all those times before, Smash was there to follow up on his engage. Smash is not there right now. He does not have the mana. He does not want to fight, and things slowly fall apart. BDD resets on his ult, able to keep chasing, get this final kill. Even with this, there's still a massive gold lead for D+, but this was a lot of money injected into KT's pockets, and a lot of experience from all these kills onto champions who are quite a bit higher level.
Yeah. And now KT able to actually get out of their base because that top inhibitor was not taken. And so now all they need to really worry about is that top lane as the Rebel Baron power play. Negative 2,000. Not exactly the greatest one that we've seen, but it's still a 10k gold lead for DK as Korea looking for an angle here. And will just get slammed into that wall. The Unbreakable Will does come down as BDD got a fair bit of DPS. The Pulverize does come through. Korea is just kind of dead. Yeah, not a lot of option. And so we are going to even out the Dragons as D+ kind of running out of momentum here in this game.
Just big missteps from D+, and now Jiwoo has a sizable goal lead over Smash, has a Morval, Mortius, Ajaccio, and a Terminus. He's pretty tanky, not easy to kill. Has too many mistakes been made? That is the question here. It's still a massive gold lead, but I'll say one thing. I'm not really going to talk about this. I'm not going to talk about this replay because it was pretty self-explanatory. But KT, if they lose this game, the series goes to 1-1. We continue playing. But D+, if they lose this game where they were this far ahead and they go to match point, that would be such a tilter.
Oh yeah, absolutely. As now Perfect does have to flash to get over the wall. Weaver's Wall in trade for a flash on the Rumble. Probably going to feel pretty good here if you are DK. But the rest of what's been happening in this game does not feel so good over the last few minutes.
Jiwoo has 135 magic resist.
That's not bad.
Before even stacking the Terminus, so...
And he's also going to have a GA relatively soon for his 6th item. Or 7th, I guess, if you include shoes.
The thing is, when you look at the gold distribution, the solo lanes, it's about 1,000 gold, a little bit more. Jungle is massive, but it's a Skarner.
Yeah.
Skarner doesn't really care. I will say Cuzco and the Titanic Hydra is definitely...
That's a choice.
A choice. Not perhaps the item I would have opted for.
I can help clear out the super minions as they make their way into the base.
He's going for the Skarner one-shot combo.
Yeah.
I mean, it will do a lot of damage with his Q. You'll be able to proc it very quickly, but when you're this far behind, it's not what you typically expect, but I digress. Either way, this is still a situation where even though there's leads in terms of like the solo lanes, Jiwoo is in a very strong spot right now.
Yeah, he is very scary. D+, they just need to get coordinated once again. Find their angles in these team fights where Korea can get the big pulverizers into these seismic shoves and start eliminating the members of KT. Because I don't even think Bailout can really save you if they do manage to get their combo off. And we do have the Rabadons completed here for Showmaker. He's got a lot of damage now with the 4 items he already has completed. Serpent's Fang is there for Shiu as well. There is a lot for them to work with. But we are very close to BDD completing his cool hat. And a lot of item spikes on the other side at the same time. These GAs still waiting to come through from both Lucid and Jiu. Yeah, both teams looking for some of these item spikes as we've got 18 seconds on the Baron. Lucid now to get discovered here by KT.
So Showmaker has his Rabadons now, so he actually was sitting on a lot of money. He's now spent it, and BDD doesn't quite have his Rabadons.
She might be in a little bit of a dangerous spot here as BDD looks for the charm angle onto Shiu. He flashes, but they're still looking for it. The equalizer comes down and Shiu's just dead. They take down the top laner, and now KT might have an angle on the Baron. Are they going to do this? Is this turnaround actually happening?
This would be such a crazy comeback to happen in a playoff game against the best performing team since we came back from MSI.
Despite Widid's best efforts, KT might actually just get to match point.
That's
as
fair.
this Baron is just going to be taken.
Gonna see the gold lead obliterated. BDD is going to be able to pick up Rabadons. I know Baron doesn't give a ton of gold, but if you think of the state we had in the game earlier, now only a 5,500 lead and playing around the vision so well.
And the Ren slow is just too much.
Yeah, the equalizer as well on top.
All right, BDD making the call, making it happen.
Earlier, maybe KT was looking at Game 3. I feel like they're looking at Game 3 and thinking, hey, we'll be 2-0 up.
Yeah, we can go home.
Point.
All right, well, they still have to make it happen. 50 seconds on a soul for either team.
MTech Soul, I think, is actually so valuable for KT. Like, if you think how tanky Jiwoo is, you actually are starting to hit the point where D+ might struggle to cut through him.
Yeah.
And if you add in the resistance from the Chemtech Soul when you're under half HP, it's going to be a problem.
Tower finally goes down in the mid lane. As KT will be able to get that one.
Jiwoo as well makes him such a massive issue to contend with. We need poke from Shiu to start connecting. And when you go for the engage, it has to be crisp for D+.
Yeah, they need to actually be alongside Korea, you know, being able to make that one work. That's all right. D+ going to get pushed away. Right now, Lucid is on the Mega Cone. And perfect in position as well. Equalizer at the ready. And they do get the information. Lucid on a deep flank, and KT, they know about it. Good flash from Showmaker, gets him out of the way. It's Korea looking to avoid this engage. The Impale comes down, but where is the follow-up? Here it is, as Korea goes in, trying to find the angle. Shiu trying to get the damage bound, but Shiu already gets one. Sees an assist into the backline, but there is no follow-up. The Talir is just dead. And now Lucid will just be separated and destroyed. Showmaker and Shiu trying to run away, and Cuz just putting this Tiamat to work. As KT, I don't know how they did it, but they're going to be able to push up this mid lane, use this Baron, and I think they're going to try and go for the sweep.
They're still behind in gold, Max. They're still down in gold.
Oh my goodness. And KT are the team that don't come back for deficits like this, right? They were the ones that were subjected to it, but this time around, they stayed strong and they turned it all the way around. That gold lead is dissipating. I think they will have an advantage as they're taking down this Nexus. I don't think Korea can do anything about it. Cuz is down low, but Showmaker not going to be able to kill him. They get the bailout, and down goes the Nexus. It's match point for KT Rolster.
To be 2-0 down at this point for D+, to be so far ahead in gold and to lose this game, this is such a hard position to be in, so difficult to bounce back from. But KT just showing insane levels of resilience, a deficit that just seemed like the game was over, and they fought their way back. Jiu, who was just wasn't allowed to play the game earlier on, was subject to so many painful combos from D+. Bounces back, sidesteps Lucid beautifully in the last fight, just keep pumping out damage, and the DK booth looks a little dismayed after that game. They know they need 3 wins in a row to get this series back in their favor. And the damage, there was more from D+, but just weren't able to cut through these bulkier targets. Jiwoo and Cuz became too hard to go through. And you see right at the end of that gold graph, there's a little
400 gold lead.
A little touch of blue.
And that's all they needed to get over the line. In fact, they were 6,000 gold behind when they won the game, basically. What a ridiculous game here as KT just broke the ankles of DK in that game. It was that one push in the top lane. It's where it all went wrong and everything came crumbling down. Can the mental be reset? DK, they've done it before this year, but it hasn't necessarily been their strong suit. We'll have to find out as we go to a short break. When we get back, the space gonna break this one down. Then we'll have what could be the last game in this series.
나 미카일 있고.
제니제이스 높을.
각 퍼져, 각 퍼져.
이거
타워 치자.
오른쪽 타워.
맞다 이거.
애니 볼게.
아니야, 타워.
얘들아 타워 찍어.
레이스. 타워 쳐. 아 여유롭게 해도 돼. 애들 시간 많아.
타워 칠게. 이거
라인 넣고 타워 쳐. 알리 나왔어.
타워 칠게.
애니 막아줄게. 타워 치자. 살려줄게요.
알리 잡자.
나이스. 좋대.
한타 지렸다.
in the dark, X on the cross.
One last prayer, then the lights go out.
Eyes in the dark, 모든 것을 봐. Cross realize when the shadows fall. Cold hands on the stake. 겁나지 않아 우리 보면 all black when we come around. 상처 안고 let the cold sink in. 어둠 속에서 where we begin. 판을 뒤집어 turn it upside down. X marks don't move, there is no way out. 어둠 속으로 we rise right now. 기도했지, no answer came. 어둠 속에 we held the pain. 아무도 없어, we rose again. 어둠을 conquer, back in the game. Who killed justice? We did. Who killed the light? We did. Who raised the crown? Give me light. Who burst the dark? Give me light. Cross our back, still we walk upright. 날카로운 night, cutting through the dark. Scars on my skin, 숨기지 않아. 실패 한 번은 fall, we rise again. 나의 구원자, no one came. We found salvation in ourselves. 포기는 없어, we do not run. 널 마주할 땐 game is done. 기도했지, no answer came. 어둠 속에 we held the pain. 아무도 없어, we rose again. 어둠을 conquer, back in the game. Who killed justice? We did. Who killed the light? We did. Who beat them all? We did. Who crushed them down? We did. Who raised the crown? King and knife. Who owns the dark? King and knife. Like legends, upside down. We killed the night. We own the light.
I can make it look easy. Feel like there's nothing wrong. It's so easy. If you wanna know, come find out. Make it look easy. Time and time again. Do it like this, like that.
Every sky is a line I'm drawn. Cut by cut, mark by mark, my name forever in the stone.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the space. And for the first time in the postseason, we've got ourselves a sweep opportunity on our hands, and it is the most unlikely way because it was a very big gold lead for D plus Kia, but somehow, some way, BDD, Jiwoo, and the boys found a way back. It's KT 2-0 over D plus Kia, and yes, only Atlas, G-Sun, Pony are the only ones alive with a 3-2 prediction that looks very dire for all E-word enthusiasts.
It looks not good for D plus right now. It looks pretty negative. It looks like a not good situation. let's talk about some drafting, you know?
Yeah, because on paper, I feel like D plus Kia had such a great idea because I was concerning about like KT's team comp just mainly because of their top side. Just because they have Ari and Scanner and Rumble all together, that means they're just AP heavy. So even though they have enough of CC, they have no damage.
They only have one real consistent damage threat in the Kalista, so there's so much CC. You're dealing with the Alistar, you're dealing with the Vi, you're dealing with the Annie, and you're dealing with rocks on the ground. So like, there's so many ways to make Jiwoo's life miserable. He's going to get headbutted out of a fight. You know, it's really tough to play the game as Kalista. But if you go late, where's the consistent damage here for D+? On the same side, they kind of run out of steam in this one.
The thing is, DK had such a great moment with the Talia-Alista combo. So as you can see in the highlight, the first highlight, I think it's really hard for Kalista to play this game because as long as like you try to auto-attack the front line, Alista is in front of your face and you literally get combo by Talia and you can't do anything in a team fight, basically.
Yeah, and they also just in the early game don't really have damage when they try to get the CC set up. So, you know, there was a few other fights we wanted to show, but the game went super long where, for example, Jiwoo gets headbutted out of an early dragon fight, just cannot actually play the game. So the early game goes great for D+. You know, they have a lot of control. They're able to win these fights through their CC. Great game from Career on the Alistar. But it goes a little bit later and things change.
Yeah, well, let's take a look at the gold graft one more time here. That is 14,000 gold lead we did?
But the thing is, this is actually like one of the reasons why LCK teams stopped playing AP bot lane, because if you cannot snowball perfectly, then you are gonna get outscaled. So that's what gonna happen in the next highlight, is that they're gonna have some weird team fight in front of their inhibitor here.
So normally when you siege with Talia, you actually cut the team in half and you play really slow. This time they just kind of were like, well, we're 14,000 gold ahead, we're going to walk in. And all of the CC tools here for the side of KT are still available. Look at Jiwoo here, kiting away from Lucid. He's got consistent damage, and there's nothing left in the tank here for D+. Smash is alive with no mana, and even if he did have mana, he doesn't have a prayer here because he just cannot do damage. As Talia in this late game, he's got a combo, he's got a setup. That's it. That's all he does. That's what these mages do. If you're playing like a Mel, you know, maybe you can keep pressing Q. You can have consistent damage. But these picks that are more burst-oriented, that are more setup and utility-oriented, like the Talia, just don't have late-game power. If you get caught and your team comp falls apart, you have to be all together. If you start getting split apart and Jiwoo's running away with the game, it's GG.
Yeah, and from there we're like, no, this can't be. It's still a 9,000 gold lead after that push. A little bit of a whoopsie, as we like to say every now and then here in the LCK. But after 6 more minutes, control of the game, KT find an angle here. It's a great flash by Showmaker, but it's just not enough.
At this point, you just do not have damage to kill their front line here.
Because look at Cuz's health bar.
Yeah,
who is gonna hurt him? He just goes and does whatever he wants.
It's just unkillable, and at the same time, and KT, Kalista has some armor items.
She got Jack shows.
He has so many damage and so much tankier at this point. So as long as like you're not really losing the game with the AD carry when you're playing against the mage bot lane, this happens. So you have to be really decisive on your team comp, because you cannot make any single mistakes when you're playing mage bot lane. Yes, you have the earlier power spike, but this happens.
Yes. You know what else happens? What is inevitable? BDD picking up a ton of kills. He's able to crest that mark that we were teasing earlier. 3,000 kills here for BDD. Gets that final one here in the round 1 of the playoffs.
It's been 10 years of mid lane play from BDD here in our league, looking fantastic. Jiwoo, I think, in this game, to bring it back to the game at hand, had a tough time in the early game, but this is Jiwoo late game. We see this very rarely where he actually just takes over a game in the late game, whether it's on the Smolder, and that famed game from so long ago. In this game on the Kalista, he gets full build, cannot be taken out. This is what Jiwoo's strength is, and it's for so many games for KT Roll, so we haven't been able to see that. We haven't been able to see it come to light. We haven't seen him come to life in the late game, but in this game that goes incredibly late, he gets it done.
I think now we got to talk about why like DK is kind of falling down into this series is because of their laning phase. I think the first game was it was great answer into Olaf, so I think CU had such a rough moment like throughout the whole game. And the second game, I think it was such a great game overall, but at the end they just couldn't finish the game just because of what they had in the top side of the inhibitor. So I feel like they just need to like stick to the plan where they're just good on, which is just put the smash on the hyper carry. And I think you don't need to play AP Mage with the
Don't
smash.
do it! No more, please!
Remember, it was 3 weeks of losing for KT Rolster after they went 2-0 after the MSI break. They then win a series against Hanjin Brion and are on the verge of a major upset here against D plus Kia. Atlas, how are those waters feeling?
The waters are feeling pretty good, Digon. I think this 6-loss streak for KT Rolster might be in a little bit of trouble. I don't know whether we're increasing that number in the negative direction. But reverse sweeps have happened before. D plus Kia have decided first pick is not something that they want. They are going to go for second pick here. They will be on the red side still. And KT staying on blue and will have first pick this time.
I think a lot of time we see later in the series, second pick becomes more of a priority as some of those really strong potential first picks are filtered out. You know, obviously in game 1, they managed to get the Orianna. In game 2, they managed to get the Vi. And these picks did not lead them to victory. But
no.
I think you can't just throw away every strategy that you had for the series just because you lost the games. You can only focus on the game in front of you.
Well, Lucian, Lee Sin, and Nocturne are going to be banned away here. We're still looking for a Cassiopeia ban as far as our must bans are concerned, and there it is. And so what else is going to be taken off the board? I think there is a certain blue guy.
Yeah, it has to be a Rise ban from D+ here. It's already a high prio pick, but the fact that we've had Syndra taken away, Orianna, Talia, Annie, a lot less options into the Rise, so I think that's a pretty straightforward one.
Yeah, I would agree. I think they have to ban it away because then they can lock in Lulu Yanara, which is something that they probably wanted second pick for.
Especially Vi and Nautilus are gone now, which are 2 picks that generally hold these high mobility...
Whoa!
High mobility AD carries to check, but they ban the Pantheon. So this is a Rise first pick for KT. And what is going to be played into it is my question. I imagine they'll probably focus on picking up the bot lane first. As you said, the Yanara Lulu, very powerful, less things to keep it in check. We'll see if they opt to go straight toward that.
I would assume that is what they're going to do.
You could even go like the Theory Lulu could also be an option, which has been a combo we've seen work quite well. There are options here for D+, but I think securing the bot lane, and particularly that Lulu, is very high value.
Oftentimes, I fail to predict what CB Max wants to do. This time around, though, we are going to get what we expect, which is that Yanara and Lulu locked in. For this final pick, I wonder whether that is going to be what Showmaker is going to take into the Rise, or whether they will get a priority jungler in that Neferi or something like that, as Ashe Seraphine will be the option into this. And Showmaker thinking about what he wants to bring out here. A lock would be funny. Wild Growth with lock actually sounds kind of cool.
I'm not sure I'd be convinced by it, to be honest.
All right. But that's... He's stopped switching between hovers. And that's why.
I like the Neferi. I like the combo with the
there we
Lulu,
go.
so I think that's a good pickup. It also means you can grab a jungler when we've had 3 jungle bans in the first rotation, 40 taken out. Definitely trims the power.
Yep, I imagine like Wukong and things like this probably going to be taken away.
Poppy ban is good. I wonder even if a Maokai might be on the mind, because we've seen later in our Fearless Best of Fives, Maokai starts to rise to prominence, and especially with how KT want to play this game, of playing like a disengage peel around their very strong backline, I think it could make sense. KT just going to ban away Vayne. Obviously, she has counter pick in this situation, so makes sense. And there's that Wukong you mentioned.
All right, one last top lane ban to likely come through here. Unless they want to get rid of an Akali or something like that Showmaker wants to be playing here in this one. And there is the TF going to be removed.
Yeah, potential honestly flex. We haven't seen that much TF top, but it has shown up. But I think a pick that is massive for Showmaker. And I imagine we're going to see his mid pick here.
Yeah, I would assume so. Save counter pick for Xiu. They're on that top side. Aurora into the Rise.
Yeah, just kind of really emphasizes that their composition is going to be trying to dive this backline and just explode the Ashe Seraphine. So KT want to try and find a way that they can defend against that. Honestly, this could be a good... I mean, you don't know the matchup, so it might be a bit risky to take it, but stuff like this, Hen has good value here. The Xante also makes a lot of sense for Perfect in terms of top picks. But I think because... Honestly, I don't hate the Maokai here.
I don't hate it either. The Nara is going to be the first choice, as there's a Cho'Gath. All right, Cuz is going for something a little bit different here in this game.
Going to be very tanky, and also the silence is a very powerful tool here into this composition. You are just going to be a brick wall. You know, this composition is not going to be fantastic at shedding through a Cho'Gath, especially if it gets ahead.
All right, we haven't seen a jungle Cho'Gath in quite some time. I'm very much looking forward to the graphic.
Yeah, and Shu is going to go for his Ambessa. I think he's very comfortable on. This is just very dive-focused, 4D+. Even though you have the Inara Lulu, they're going to kind of be the follow-up on your diving into this backline. KT Rolster have the insane power of the Cho'Gath buffed up by the Seraphine. If you get ahead on this pig, you will just be a brick wall, hard to punch through. But it's going to depend a lot on G1 effort, being able to position correctly in these fights. If they die quickly, I think KT's composition will fall apart. But I think the lanes are pretty positive overall. We have seen some Ambessas find favor in the Gnar matchup, but Gnar can generally do pretty well.
Yep.
Ryze is just an absolute powerhouse. Ashe Seraphine should be able to pressure down Smash Korea. I think they are in a decent spot here.
Yeah, I think I would be very scared if I was a D+ fan, because even just looking at the mid lane, that is the scary part, right? Like, BDD is playing Ryze. This is normally the guaranteed win that KT gets. It's just the one BDD Ryze game where he just goes completely ballistic and kills everyone. That was banned 2 games in a row. Now he still gets his hands on it. And I'm very worried that we are just going to be going home after 3 games.
And I'm wondering, was it justified to give him the Ryze? Did you get enough in return to make it a worthy trade? They thought Inara Lulu was enough. We'll have to see if it was.
I'm not sure whether it is, but ladies and gentlemen, let's see whether D+ can prove themselves here in this 3rd game to keep this series alive.
미니언들이 생성되었습니다.
All right, here we are, ladies and gentlemen. D+ Kia on the verge of going down to the lower bracket already in these playoffs. Their very first series. Not the place that you want to be.
Well, this is high value. So the sweeper level 1 from Effort clears out the ward that Showmaker came down and placed. BDD gets his own ward down in return. So it's a good amount of river control for KT. We do see that Smash has to put his ward down. That's such a big cost. When you're playing into Ashe Seraphine, every ward you use in the river is a ward you don't have for those brushes that they can play around. They are going to have the pressure advantage here.
That's why they made sure that Showmaker could get his ward in. Career, I believe, going to be able to get his down, but is going to be punished for it. There's the heal out. Barrier already used here by Gio to try and keep himself healthy in this lane.
Sweeper again, so they clear another ward.
Oh,
Rush
God.
control heavily in favor of KT. Did have to respect a little bit the power of the stacked Inara passive, but remember, he's gone cleanse, which 100% makes sense, but it means you don't have that barrier to help with the trades.
Oh dear. Speaking of helping with trades, Shiu just would like some help, just in general. Level 1 on the Ambessa, not feeling great, as Perfect does beat him to level 2. And this wave going to crash on forward. And Wadid was mentioning that, the laning phase is where DK really need to start, focusing up and having a better time. These lanes aren't necessarily set up for success in the very early stages of this one.
Is a bit of a cause for concern.
Yeah, Showmaker having an alright time into BDD in this early game, but oh my goodness, yeah, Smash going to get comboed down. Oh dear.
Held cleanse there, took a bit of extra damage. They didn't have the heal, but the Guardian comes through to keep them alive. But this is not a great spot to be in, definitely not. And the thing is, one of the reasons Ashe Seraphine was so powerful is it's vulnerable to ganks, but you have an Ashe. So tracking the enemy jungler is so straightforward. Both junglers started top path in bot side. So Cuz can be here to cover the match to make sure that Lucid doesn't feast on these 2 pushy backliners if he gets a gank in.
Yeah, kind of crazy that she was 0-2 on the Ambessa. I kind of see him in my mind as a pretty good Ambessa player.
You know, Ambessa's win rate in the LCK was really low after the nerf to her ult.
Yeah.
And it, you know, she bounced back a bit once they buffed passive at level 6, the healing and armor pen.
Yep. All the free stats that you get.
Yes, I know I haven't talked about that much.
Yeah, no. Jinner Umpty was the last one to play this, and it was a loss against Cuz!
Like 9 years ago.
On Longzhu. My goodness, was that his first season? I think it was. I think that was his debut season when Cuz was playing with BDD on Longzhu. Wow, that's nuts.
So just a little bit ago.
Yeah, a little bit. A lot of bit, you could say. That Longzhu roster was incredibly good, by the way.
Yeah, remember.
It was a long time ago, though. All right, Lucid looking for a bit of an angle here towards this mid lane. See whether they can get something out of BDD. They do get the Ghost.
Hard to get more. You don't really have the CC setup. You just have slows, which aren't going to do that much to Arise Ghost.
Slurkle comes on down.
Oh, no.
Yeah, Smash does cleanse this one, but I don't know whether that is going to be enough. Korea might be in trouble as well, as he has to flash. DK's bottom lane in an incredibly rough spot. Might be another back necessary.
One of the tough things with this matchup is that often Yunara wins even tougher lanes by extending the trades and making them longer. But into an Ashe, that often doesn't favor you because she has that flurry and she can chase you down afterwards. So if you start losing the trade or your passive times out as Yunara, you cannot just gracefully walk away because you'll be slowed down, they'll keep harassing you. And you saw the result there where Smash does get away, but Korea unfortunately has to burn that flash and just puts them at even more of a deficit. Now as well, heal coming up for Effort, barrier coming up for Jiwoo. Yes, Korea has his heal, but there's a pretty solid summoner advantage for KT's bot lane 2v2.
Yeah, and they already had that barrier instead of the cleanse, so things in these trades were already looking good. Only going to look better now as BDD gets his wave shoved in. And Showmaker is going to wander his way back after having another reset himself.
Yeah, BD hit level 6 now, so he's going to reset, pick up a buy, and then any time he gets a wave shoved in, you immediately have to be concerned for those side lanes.
Wow, it is a 10 CS gap. Likely going to be a 6 CS gap as these minions are taken down here by D+, who are just doing their very best to hold this wave towards their turret. It's looking very tough, though, for this D+ Kia roster. The start of this game, KT just feels like they kind of got what they wanted in this draft, making use of their first opportunity to have first pick in this series as Lucid sidesteps the Rupture.
Roar's coming.
Yeah, Showmaker making his way down. Bit of Slurkle value as Showmaker gets into this brush, but I think he was spotted moving in. And Vidity is still pushing. Effort takes a lot of damage as there is the Between Worlds and Showmaker picks up first blood. Chose the wrong time to just choke on my own tongue as D+ will be able to get that first kill of the game, and they're not done yet. Cuz is also in trouble. The daggers land, the Rupture is in though, and down goes the Doggo. Oh no! KT, they even it out.
Such a good Rupture there from Cuz, kind of saves the whole passage of play. I was honestly worried this could be disaster for KT, but they managed to answer back.
I thought you were going to say you were worried that your co-caster was just going to die.
I am a little bit. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm doing okay now.
Okay, so the thing I don't get about this play is they've already staved up the gank, and after that point, Showmaker is wasting time. But they walk up, and I know they want to contest the Scuttle and the Dragon, but you could have just had BDD push mid and get an advantage there. You didn't have to contest this, but it gets saved by this moment. The thing is, he actually heals from the Doggos.
Yeah.
Because of the passive.
Yep.
I think that did save him there, and Lucid unable to finish off his counterpart, so it ends up an even play after everything.
Kind of ridiculous that Cho'Gath's passive gets that much work done and we actually see it happen. Oftentimes with Cho'Gath's passive, you sort of forget what it is, but he just gets health and mana whenever he kills anything.
How much of this... Because it's not just like the passive getting the health from the Doggos, but with your E on Cho'Gath, you can actually melt through the Doggos pretty quickly.
Yeah.
I wonder how much of that factored into picking this matchup here. It just seems like it's going to hit a point where if Lucid jumps on a Cuz, it's just a bad time every time.
And he can just kind of get eaten, which is not great. I'm really glad that Lucid didn't go... I hope he didn't go for the hot dog skin, because that would only make things...
More enticing.
Yeah, way more enticing. Went for the
It's
project.
not the hot dogs.
Yeah,
it's got like the blades on it, so
Yeah, it looks more dangerous.
I don't think Cho'Gath is bothered about it, but that does look like it would cause some intestinal issues.
Yeah. So as long as you can guarantee a bit of indigestion, I think that is probably the best skin choice that you can go for. As BDD clears out this wave, you've got Showmaker making his way back over. And level 6 is now gained for D+, so a dash is now picked up for the Inara. And I think DK going to be feeling better about how things look as this game progresses now that they do have this Lulu-Inara combo. But I imagine that the confidence is at a bit of an all-time low at this stage with how things have been going in the last couple of games. I think second one as well, just so devastating losing a game like that.
Often when you have a Inara Lulu, you're just like, oh, well, give us time. We'll be so strong. And speaking of so strong, they just hit level 6.
Yeah, there is the Arc of Ruin. Gio is just going to run away, though. And Korea hits that level 6 as well. Almost had the Wild Growth combo, but I don't think they were actually ever able to close that gap.
Yeah, could disengage. You can see Lucid hanging around the area, but Gio and Effort will back off. Oh, the barrier to stop it as well, so good Lance doesn't cancel the recall. Yep. Yeah, I think normally you have Inara Lulu and you think, give us enough time and we'll carry. But Ashe Seraphine causes a lot of issues even in team fights, and the fact is a Ryze. We've seen so many games where it just ends because Ryze gets 3 items and he presses his buttons, clicks his actualizer, and it's like, cool, you're dead now.
Yeah, not to mention the fact that there's a Cho'Gath in this game who scales pretty well, you could say. Because if there's ever a player on DK that they don't like very much, Cuz just goes over and eats them.
Could you illustrate how well Cho'Gath scales in finite terms, or is it not possible?
Yeah, no, I don't think it's possible.
No, it does seem that way. He has a 3 stack so far, so been ulting as you kind of do, just off cooldown, especially in the jungle.
Yeah.
Get that stacked up.
Very similar to how you would play it towards the top lane. Oh! As Showmaker gets hit by the arrow. BDD gets under the turret, and Between Worlds comes in, but it's not enough to save him. I think that was Deathfire Touch that actually got that kill in the end, as BDD gets one for himself, and now this Ryze well and truly online.
We've seen Ashe be so effective at the ults to gank mid against champions like Orianna, Syndra. You know, mobile champions that are easy to hit.
Yeah.
Hitting an Aurora is not an easy task, but Gio finds his target, sets up a kill for BDD, and now, I mean, KT's got to be feeling so confident.
And I think they probably already were. They have a 3-game buffer to win this series. And I don't think that they want to waste very much time. Cyclosword is at least completed here for Lucid, but Cuz already had his bargain bin belt. As Gio.
볼게.
Like, it's about there.
Oh, and the W is just a little late.
나이스.
You know, BDD as well got that last auto off at the end, which can be a little tricky. You know, when it's behind the tower, you have to put target champions only on.
Yep.
But he gets the auto down. The Deathfire Touch killed him while he was in the air, but just made sure it was guaranteed the kill was going to happen. Great moves by the AD and mid off KT. And already a 1,600 gold lead. And to be honest, after seeing last game, I feel like D+ need an extra maybe 18,000 gold to really guarantee a game win.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. A deficit of any kind is absolutely not what you want to see if you are a D+ fan. They need all the help they can get, as BDD does at least take a little bit of a rough trade against Showmaker here.
I think, honestly, the problem with playing Aurora and Neferi into Ryze is this is a combination that has a lot of kill threat and a lot of champions, but Ryze is a little too bulky and can always just realm warp away.
Yeah, they don't have a lot of the interrupting him.
Unless you're fed enough that you can burst him down, which they really aren't right now. You start fighting, he just ults away. They do have Kree here, can obviously disrupt that. And he's starting to get a little low, but it's not an easy task.
Yeah, especially when you get the Seraphs put together. This becomes almost impossible to stop him from being able to get away if he wants to. But DK, I think, still just biding their time, wanting to find a good teamfight opportunity where they can utilize all this dive, make this Wild Growth combo work. I feel so worried because KT's composition just seems so durable. And they have so many pieces that can work in tandem, right? Like Cuz being that massive front line, Gio and Effort being able to offer so much utility, and then BDD just being all the damage they will ever require.
We saw D+ get challenged in the last game by these great...
Oh, dear.
Oh, no.
Cuz just going to yell at the Inara here. Oh, just the very edge of the Encore, and they get both summoners out of Smash and his ultimate.
The thing is, Cuz didn't actually have his ult, so the kill threat wasn't there. But Smash doesn't know this. He's been eating jungle monsters, so you assume the Cho'Gath is about to eat you. You have to make the moves as if he is. And the end result is both summoners and ult down for Smash, giving a lot of pressure over to KT. Cuz already looks so tanky.
He's just getting bigger and bigger. 5 feast stacks already. As DK losing plate after plate here in this bottom lane as Lucid trying to get rid of some of these control wards. Does land some Darkened Daggers here towards BDD. That bleed working out onto the Rise right now. But Shiu just getting locked in lane. Perfect getting stronger and stronger as he's completed his cull already as well. 1.2k the advantage for just this Nah in this top lane. That is half of their gold lead, and we've barely even looked at this lane.
I feel like Perfect has just been, you know, obviously last game he struggled a bit in the laning phase, but bringing out the Trundle to great effect, this Nah here working so well. We've seen Ambesses really challenge in this matchup.
Yeah, we have.
And do well, so, you know, all credit to him.
And now we have first items completed, but Perfect grabbing the Trinity Force alongside the Eclipse buy here for Shiu. I think he's probably still going to be feeling fine as Lucid moving down towards his bottom side, trying to find an angle of attack as Korea gets the bad news that Cuz is in the area. I don't think this is going to be a successful Nefiri move. As a bit of a standoff as Cuz just stays here in this brush. They do give the information away.
This is the flank you want that I was talking about.
Yeah, the ult has started off here as they dive in on top. The interruption does come on through as the Wild Growth doesn't exactly get the most work done. As Gio should be taken out. That's the kill going over to Smash. He sidesteps the Rupture. Cuz goes down. It's a double as Showmaker bounces into the backline. Effort's taken out as well. And she was just running amok for Perfect. About to hit Mega at a pretty good time here as he looks for Korea. Throws him under the turret. And down goes Alulu. The wallop placement just gorgeous. As he is going to get electrocuted here by Showmaker somewhat as BDD looking to try and lock him down. But in the end, it is going to be a 2 for 3 in favor of D+.
D+ was such a strong start to the fight. The solo laners, KT, able to clean up some of these kills. But the end result is D+ come out ahead.
Infernal Soul?
A needed input when they are behind. These are the flank angles you need. This is kind of what KT was doing to D+ last game. But it just makes it so difficult for the Ashe to survive. Even with Summoner's Use, even with disengaging, very hard to find their way out. And Cuz just gets DPS down by the focused fire of 3 members. Now, Perfect comes in here, and I love the target selection. No, Showmaker's hard to chase, but does force him to dash away. Knocks Korea under the towers so BDD can get the kill. And then even here, just chasing down Shiwu well. The flash does obviously allow him to disengage though. But this Nah already seeming to be a big problem for D+.
Certainly is. The only lead in the game here for D+ is the Drakes that they managed to pick up 2 of. But it's an Ocean Soul, so not exactly the best situation there. And the Inara. So Smash, he's just going to have to carry if D+ are going to win this game. We'll see whether he can stand up to the challenge, because the rest is not necessarily working out. Only a 1,000 gold lead, not the end of the world.
Cuz is nearly level 11. Remember, he instantly gets extra health when he ranks that ult up. So if you can get this, Herald should level up. It looks like they're just going to hold off for now.
Shiu with a bit of spare time here will be in this bottom lane. Perfect with no teleport. He's going to catch the wave. And now a little bit of a tempo move here for DK. See whether they are able to head over towards this Herald. Looks like the answer is no, as they opted in for going back and grabbing a reset for the Inara. Phantom Dancer is now done.
Yeah, interesting we get the Phantom Dancer. It's often Yuntal, or sometimes we've seen the Runans.
Yeah, Runans after the buff has seemed very strong.
But value in that mobility. I think that's a big thing with PD. It has that really high level of movement speed. And there's a lot of things that you want to dodge away from here, namely the Rupture.
Yeah. Was it Pays that built it yesterday? I'm pretty sure he built it on Jhin, of all champions, for the extra movement speed.
Does give a lot.
Yeah, was running real quick.
Seraph's completed here for BDD.
Oh my goodness, that's that's the classic 2-item spike. He is almost actual.
I feel like the 2-item spike was such a big thing for such a while, and now it's just like 3 items just overshadows it so heavily.
Yeah.
Cuz has it level 11, so even tankier.
Lucid goes into the sky, but does have himself a shield from Korea.
I will say, even though a champion like Neferi typically doesn't do well into big bulky tanks, the Cyclo Sword is doing a lot of damage with the percentage.
Yeah, that's helping.
Speed threat.
The Eclipse also going to be doing a fair bit of work there, as Rupture is going to be collected here by Career. Also gets the beat dropped and the volley. So some poke to come on through.
Honestly, they maybe could have just fired an arrow after that CC connected and try to go for the kill, but didn't want to overplay the hand, didn't have a big damage threat in range.
Yep. Cuz needs to watch out. He's actually taking a lot of poke here as Lucid does connect another one. There's the ulti. Wild Growth comes through. The Encore comes down, but there's the cleanse from Smash. Cuz is just dead, and Smash wants even more. Gio is now in the line of fire. They're able to slow him down. Still, this Yunara is so much of a problem for KT, and their gold lead is just falling by the wayside.
There's no armor on Cuz, apart from the plated steel caps. He is just kind of a big meat bag right now, and into Lucid and Smash, they kind of just able to shred him. So that Cho'Gath fantasy of being incredibly tanky, incredibly hard to kill just has not been hit yet. And D+ punish a flashless Cho'Gath who's so hard to miss.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I think Lord Dom's probably going to be working out relatively well here for Smash if he decides to build it this game. And the Rift Herald is going to be secured here by DK. Lucid now holding on to Shelly. We'll see when he's going to throw that one down as BDD lying in wait. Showmaker will just get himself out of there. Very comfortably so on this Aurora as Gio and Effort back towards this mid lane. The DK have had a lot of control of so far this game.
Smash is scary. I think that's something we can definitely establish already here.
Yep.
And, you know, I said how the Yunara isn't like a guaranteed free win in this game, just having the Yunara get in a late game. But when the Yunara is fed and in the hands of a player like Smash, that is really a major cause for concern.
Well, we were also concerned when they were 14,000 gold ahead.
That's true.
And KT able to get that demon off their shoulder as well. Remember, it was them. They were 14,000 gold ahead of T1. And then they lost. You know, that happened in the past. Now able to do the same thing, serving that to D+ Kia here today. DK now, once again, in an okay position. They don't have a gold lead yet. We're at 20 minutes, but they do have 2 dragons.
There's another spawning in just about 10 seconds. Varied vision. No one team with absolute dominance in terms of vision, but we see KT pushing in to try and secure some.
Yeah. Perfect with a great Nabbar right now, but will be transforming whether he likes it or not. As the Ruptures are difficult to spot for me right here. Showmaker will be able to throw a few abilities over, Cuz just getting that health bar whittled down.
Meganar's about to time out though. Some good boulders for poke.
Yeah.
Don't really think of Nar as a poke champion, but it'll do.
Yep, when you can throw things around, especially when they're cute little, like, little penguins in ice blocks. Kind of like this skin, poke. As KT gonna get on top of this Ocean Dragon. Let's see whether DK can get themselves in here. Yeah, there's the teleport in from the Ambassador. Shia making his way over, but they just eat the dragon. And now the Realm Warp gets them all out of there. And KT will be absolutely fine.
Yeah, there's actually a Herald in pocket for Lucid that he could have thrown down, but the Realm Warp stops that play from happening. Such a smart move, because so often when we see a team commit so heavily onto the objective, it forces them away from mid. They can't just walk over there. So BDD using a great move there to get his team back into position.
Wait. No. Surely they don't just get a free Baron at 21.5 minutes.
Who would expect this?
Well, not me.
Yeah, I mean, who would think they're going for this? Cho'Gath can tank it for a while. It's Albert, by the way. It's not Huni.
Yeah. And Albert doesn't do quite that much damage. As Gio is walking towards the Baron, they do get information of it, but it's way too late. There is nothing they can do about this.
His beast's about to come up. 1 second.
Yep, and there it is.
So just smite it, secure. Baron picked up already for KT now. This does sacrifice the mid lane tower to the Herald, and I will say, Baron does not give as much gold as used to. For this entire year, hasn't.
Yep.
But a Baron this early, you should be able to start picking up structures. We need to see them get something from it. It's just the Baron alone. You can see already the Baron power play is in the negative.
Yeah, they did lose a turret off the back end of it. But also, KT, they have now 2.5 minutes to get something out of it.
Also the Baron stats. You know, late in the game, it's not that much of a factor, but the extra adaptive force you get makes a big difference when it's this early in the game.
Right now, haven't seen it mean very much, as there's a wave that's being shoved back by Shu, but there is going to be a Nar now picking it up. He'll have that extra pushing power, as BDD also making use of it towards his bottom side. So D+, still going to be dangerous in a team fight, but If KT can play this map, could be able to lock down some of these inner turrets, and hopefully this outer turret in the mid lane that has been sticking around quite annoyingly.
You know, honestly, I did just look it up. It's not that much stats this early in the game, so it's not that much of a factor, to be honest.
Yeah, I think this goes back to something that I like to talk about, which is Azael's supreme hatred of the Baron buff at the moment. Just doesn't think it's all that useful.
It really isn't. But they are going to get some turrets. That is the main thing.
Yep.
Get Baron, you want to get turrets. That is the...
That's the goal.
Two-step process.
They do have 3 of them now. So
Also,
the DK picked up.
I'm going to say something insane. I want you to look at the number next to BDD's health bar.
Okay. What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, his Run of Ages came in.
He's level 17?
He has a 50 CS lead on Showmaker. He's been getting value in these side lanes. He's just...
Dude, it's not even 24 minutes yet. He's almost at 300 CS.
Yeah, he's about to recall and pick up Actualizer, and the game is just a little bit tough.
Yeah, okay. Well, there's public execution onto Perfect. They're going to see whether they can lock him down. Great knock-up. Should be able to secure the Gnar. Rupture is onto 2, but KT a little bit late on the play. Is now Showmaker wanting to get rid of them. The Encore goes the wrong way. Not sure about that one. As Showmaker is dashing out of this. Tries to get out with the Between Worlds, but he is going to be sacrificed. And now Smash throws down the ulti. The arrow comes on in as Shiu gets into that back line. Looking for the angle. Lucid is a long way away from the team, and Shiu now has to flash. And DK, they go 1 for 1, and that is not going to be good enough.
Definitely not. When the Encore went off in that way, I was like, is this the moment D+ answers back? But no, it's not. And also, BDD backed after that and bought Seeker's Arm Guard and Actualizer.
Oh, God.
Yeah, so this was the window. This was the window to win it. They used a lot onto the Gnar, but they get them down. They get Perfect. This ensuing fight, effort speeds them up. The ult is not the highest value.
I would say not.
But then Showmaker goes in and gets instantly targeted down. BDD is so strong, and he just got stronger, is the main thing here.
Yeah, this is the dangerous part, is the fact that BDD just needs to be respected so much by D+. They need to either chain CC him to death before he can press an arm guard button.
I will say...
Or fight around where he is not.
I've played a lot of Seraphine, and I'm pretty sure Seraphine doesn't buff allies if you ult them. But I did have to just double check.
Yeah.
No, Seraphine. I was like, does she speed them up? No.
If he was playing Nami, he would have.
Exactly. That would have been some tech.
Yeah, that would have been kind of sick. That being said, I think still throw the tidal wave at the bad guys.
Yes, I would say that's a good plan. Either way, gold is dead even, but BDD is just so insanely strong right now. And with the Seeker's Arm Guard, he's not an easy target to take down. I think your options are either just avoid him completely and pretend he doesn't exist, or you CC chain him and kill him before he can seek his arm guard.
Yeah,
but he is quite bulky.
I don't... Yeah, well, that is going to be the second Ocean Dragon.
You cannot win a smite fight against a Cho'Gath.
No. Well, they might be able to get themselves an inner turret, or at least a fair bit of damage down onto it. As Smash does have Mortal Reminder. That is a Realm Warp to bring over all of KT to defend this. We'll be able to do that at least. I feel like KT are in a pretty good position to 3-0.
Pretty phenomenal position. I mean, I will say Smash is fed.
He is.
And BDD has no sums right now. And there are scenarios I can see D+ winning a fight and Smash is just unleashed, but it's a level 18 rise with like the item.
Hey, okay, I got the stat for you.
Hit me.
In the future,
yep.
What level will BDD get to? He's not going to get any more levels, okay?
There you go.
This is the highest he will get.
And you know what? He can't build another Actualizer.
Yeah! Right? He will build probably like other really scary items.
Yeah, Rabadon's pretty good.
Yeah, that one.
But Smash is about to get Infinity Edge, so...
All right. I don't know, man. Even though DK have a 300 gold lead, it just doesn't mean anything at all. It feels like KT are so far ahead based on their composition and based on their mid laner.
Which is crazy to say when one team has a Yunara.
Yeah.
That feels backwards, but it's not.
Well, there is, speaking of backwards, the back has been channeled. Smash, I think, has got Infinity Edge completed. There it is. 4 items done.
Okay.
For the Yunara.
Fortunately, like he is doing a lot of damage, but unfortunately no defensive items yet.
Yep.
which I feel like you really need to be fully enabled in these fights. But he does have the Lulu bolster in him. No Mikhail's yet, but does have that cleanse in pocket.
Yeah, also, I mean, Shirelia's there for the extra movement speed. Ardent Sense are always great for
Shirelia's and Phantom Dancer, he's zooming.
Yep, going very quick. And D+, I think probably going to try and keep this Baron warded from now on, after seeing what KT were able to do earlier on.
That'd be a good plan. I actually rate that idea.
Yeah.
It's a good strategy.
As it turns out, ward in the pit. So they've managed to at least tick that box, as Cuz 8 stacks of his feast right now, looking very large.
Over 4,000 health.
Yeah. And shields for days. Man, the Ruka shield looks so tiny just because his health bar is so massive.
It's very funny.
It is quite funny.
I actually feel like Ruka in here wouldn't it be my prio buy, personally?
No.
I don't think the Aurora is really shredding you. I know she does have percentage HP damage, but I think you're kind of okay.
Maybe it was for the Glitter Lances that were really bothering him earlier in the game.
That's fair.
All right, Lucid going to spend some time in the sky. There is BDD completing his Zhonya's Hourglass, so that's 4 items complete for this Rise. And D+ going to slink off towards this Baron Pit because, I mean, yeah, he takes a fair bit of damage when Smash does get into auto range, but they've got 2 Ocean Dragons as well, as the arrow is going to connect. That gets the cleanse out of Smash. And with no Mikhails, this is a very big summoner spell.
Yeah, into a Seraphine. So scary to play team fights without cleanse available or Mikhails. We did see BDD actually, he was moving towards bot lane, trying to see if they could maybe get a gank on a Shiu, but Shiu backed off, so they played it safe. He then Realm Warps up mid to try and back up this play. He's going back to bot. He doesn't have Realm Warp anymore, so...
Oh dear, teleport is available for Showmaker, but can he actually get here in time? That is the question. The answer is he's not even going to go for it. Public Execution is just a whimper, and down goes the Ambessa in the side lane. 1 minute until he'll be up and available once again. Does have teleport, but that is a long time to try and deal with this. As now Cuz getting chunked out here by Smash once again. This Yunara proving that she is still terrifying.
Absolutely. You really have to keep Smash in check. Does show D+ not able to transition into a Baron despite 2 members down the bot side. But now BDD looking for a flank.
Yeah, he flashes in looking for Showmaker. He's going to try and bounce his way over the wall. Does get into the Raptor pit as now Smash kind of alone is perfect. Looking for an angle. BDD though gets chunked. And the Raptor is going to be taken out. Fair bit used here. Showmaker's flash now on cooldown. Smash does keep his flash up though.
A lot committed there to try and make the play work. KT down tools, but they're going to start the Baron anyway. Remember, with the Cho'Gath, if it gets low, it's basically theirs.
Yep, Lucid's going to dive in. Showmaker trying to get out of the way as Anath throws him into the wall. That is going to be a dead Aurora. Yeah, he's real quiet this time. As now Lucid goes in, they get the wild growth, but I don't think that's going to be enough. Smash trying to be the hero, but that's 5 versus 1 Yunara. And KT 1 step closer to a 3-0 over D+ here. And the Realm Warp is going to most likely be the end of Shia here as well, who tries to dash his way out. And the Rupture will not connect. Lucid's going to stay alive, but he's just alive to just watch as his Nexus and his turrets get absolutely obliterated.
KT just dominating this game, this series. Even with the 14k gold deficit in game 2, just wasn't enough. And now they have firm control. They're looking to end here.
Yeah, they're looking for the final push. They have the Baron that they just managed to pick up. As she was trying to pull these minions as best as he can, but these Nexus turrets are not long for the world. The Public Execution goes in. Let's see whether Shiu can actually try and save this, as Between Worlds does a lot of damage. They get rid of the Ash, and now Lucid looking to get on top of Perfect. BDD goes golden. The Actualizer not going to work out this time, as DK will respawn in time to save their Nexus. The Encore comes down. The DK is still looking for this one. There is the Slurkle, and the ultimate connects. Perfect not going to survive, and DK, they'll get the counter almost ace and wipe out the Baron.
Just when KT looks like they have everything in their hands to win this series in a decisive 3-0, they overstep. They get a bit too ahead of themselves, and they go into the enemy base. This was great. Perfect finds the angle onto Showmaker, and then the CC is laid with the Cho'Gath, just doesn't get to play the game. The Baron, you just cannot compete with the Cho'Gath, so they go for Jiwoo. But look, BDD just wards off Smash. With the Seraphs, is able to do enough damage, able to stand up to him. And Smash cannot carry that fight as a result, and then they get the chase down here. I think just there was an overstep. We've seen this before, specifically from D+. There was those top lane Aurora games where she did like miracle defenses.
Yeah.
This champion is so good at base defenses. You respawn, you ult, you hit everyone, you help clear the minions as well. And suddenly KT realized this was not their winning moment. They got ahead of themselves and they're gonna have to try again.
Well, I think they still will have the tools. However, it's not like they have like the massive gold lead that we were talking about for DK
There's still
in the
that
last
scary
game.
Yanara, who now has a GA, by the way.
Yeah. And will definitely be helping. Mikhail's is finally done. That feels even more important.
So now we had the damage already, but now we have the defensive tools. Look at that. Oh my god. Also, Serpent's Fang came through for Lucid. If he connects onto anyone, but even BDD more specifically, that shield reduction would be humongous, as the Starax also on perfect. And of course, the Seraphine is self-explanatory.
Yeah, there are some big buys. But I don't know, man. I still feel like KT are in a really good spot, but that was a negative 1.6k Red Bull Baron, not so much power play. This series has been wonky. I don't think I've got a better word.
And now it gets a bit awkward because they were pushing down bot, but they have to deal with super minions in mid, and Perfect just being annoying.
Yeah, he is just going to try and shove things forward. Because his health bar doesn't fit on the screen really anymore, it's getting kind of absurd. And he's still got room to grow.
He has 9 stacks. Did get level 16, that obviously gives you increased value on those stacks.
It's a big Cho'Gath.
I will say D+ denying the dragon. Ocean Soul, a good amount of value, KT. You normally want bulky champions to benefit from that healing. They've got that.
They do. This Cho'Gath Gnar situation is certainly going to be able to make that one work. And Ryze, quite a bulky champion himself, especially with his Seraph Shield. And the Zhonya's allowing you to benefit from some of the regen. Somewhat. I mean, that's a bit clutching, but still can possibly work as effort. A little bit dangerous for him to be getting wards down, right, as the Seraphine. But D+.
The light for support.
Yeah. Especially the more Enchanter supports.
I mean, BDD's had so much pressure in these side lanes. He's got a Flame Horizon right now.
Yeah.
And I think a big aspect of it is it's so hard to punish him. If you run at him with the Aurora, with the Fury, you don't have the CC to stop him from Realm Warping. Shiwu, the only way to stop him is ulting, which we've seen how many times Ambessa ult misses now with the longer cast time. You kind of need Korea there. And if you bring in that many members up, he's just able to see it coming and able to back away.
Is Cuz bigger than Baron now?
No, I don't think so.
It's getting there.
Wider, not taller.
He's also like very voidy with this particular skin. So I feel like, you know, Cuz and Baron are best mates right now.
Friends. I mean, Cho'Gath is already pretty voidy, but normally we get like the Gentleman Cho'Gath skin.
I know, it's my favorite. Up you go.
Imagine if you get like a Gentleman Baron skin.
Oh my lord. Maybe whenever you equip the Gentleman Cho'Gath skin, there should just be on the Rift with you, the Gentleman Baron.
Shelly as well.
Ah. Would be incredible. Maybe like there could be like a skin combo thing, right? And so like if, for example, you get Gentleman Cho'Gath and Gragas Esquire in the same game, they combo together and you get the Gentleman Baron.
Skin combos would be crazy.
That would be so cool if like Summoner's Rift was molded around the skins and stuff. Like maybe you get Project Baron if you have enough Project skins in the game.
If you have enough winter skins, you get the winter map.
Yeah! Oh, make
that
it happen.
Was post, that rupture.
We should send that email. Yeah.
BDD just picked up Rabadons, by the way.
Okay, I think the Ryze might be frightening. BDD is also looking for a flank angle. If Lucid looks at him, Lucid dies. He has to flip over that wall. At least he does create that distance. I feel like every rupture is a chance for death for DK.
They can just fish. And there's not a ton of recourse from D+ unless KT oversteps.
Yeah, I think getting this Mega Gnar out from Perfect was a great move. Smash managing to gather that with a Slurkle. They'll need to wait this out though. That is precisely what they're doing. 40 seconds on this Ocean Soul point for DK. KT could just even out the Dragons, make it 3 apiece. We've had so many Elemental Drakes this series so far. It's been ridiculous. That's an ult forward from Lucid. Puts the Zhonya's on cooldown as Smash. Looking for the angle. Can he actually get into the Encore? It's gigantic. They get on top of Smash. He's down to the GA already, and I don't don't think this one's happening. He gets over, takes out one, but that is going to be that as D+, I think, may be going home way earlier than we expected here today, and with the opposite result of what most people thought. As KT, it just seems like every time you doubt them, they only get stronger, as there is the ace, and that's KT marching up the mid lane to claim their 3-0.
A matchup where D+ came in so favored. They won EWC, they dominated the Legend group, but they could not do anything to KT today. 3-0, the most one-sided series we've had in the play-ins and playoffs so far, and from a team who struggled so much in our recent matches.
What an unbelievable performance from the roller coaster riders themselves. And I love that we are finally getting to see the value of putting Gio on your screen, on your team. And he's on your screen as well. But what this guy has is the ability to play in the clutch.
Yeah.
And he did that in game number 2 especially. In game number 3, he was there with the arrows, finds Showmaker in that mid-game. But it's these crazy picks that they picked up. The Trundle, absolutely fantastic. And the Cho'Gath here in this last game was just unstoppable.
You know, I think a ton of praise needs to be given to all 5 players, but also the staff behind them who really came in with a lot of preparation today and just dismantled D+. And I think we saw them kind of reeling after the change in the bot lane, struggling to get up to speed with you. But
there he is once again.
There you go.
Oh, man. Why do I have a little bit of a red bit on my prediction?
Because you're evil.
Maybe it's because I wanted to swap to KT at the end. That would have been cute if they actually did decide to do that.
I think even in like my sort of wildest thoughts, where KT won, it was a 3-2. It was a close series.
Yeah, me too.
It was hard fought. I couldn't imagine coming in today and KT just completely blowing away D+. Even a lot of the big upsets that KT have had, it's been hard fought, long series. Not to say this wasn't hard fought by them, but this was so convincing. This was a 14,000 gold lead dismantled, and game 1 and 3 it just felt like they always had it. They always had it.
This is a KT that just looked far more prepared coming into this series. And do you know what the scariest part is if you're a D+ fan? You now have to play against BNK FearX for your tournament lives.
Yeah.
And I remember the LCK Cup. I mean, there are times where you definitely just do not want to be playing against that particular team.
That lower bracket is so dangerous. And
it's so
talk
scary.
About teams in the upper bracket, it's like, oh, you just have to win like this series and you're at Worlds. Lower bracket is not like that. Lower bracket's like, you have to fight through so many teams to make it. And there was moments for sure from D+ of this series, moments like 14,000 gold ahead in game 2, but you know, BDD was so solid this game on the rise. The Cho'Gath, really creative and provided a ton of value. They just, every single time they was set up for objectives, I was just secure the objective, and then the fight happened. It was like a guarantee.
Yep.
There was this little mishap here, but they didn't let this bother them. This final fight, this moment. BDD with the instant stasis and then flashing out, the team peels back and effort with this ult. So good.
Yeah, and absolutely crazy that the arrow hits smash. He then has to cleanse that and then the encore, the kitchen sink, everything lands.
You know, because with the flash ult, it just reminds you, remember the Goggles Stoneplate days?
Yeah.
Just flash ult the enemy AD carry and you win.
Yep. It was a cute little sidestep, but you can hear KT not quite celebrating just yet, but finally the big grins on their faces as BDD casually cruising up the mid lane to claim this Nexus. Still a bit of business here with KT, not early celebrations for the squad.
But they did just nearly end the game and then it backfired massively a moment before, so I think it makes sense there, not celebrating too early.
I really do think Cuz is bigger than Baron. That is a gigantic Cho'Gath. They're having a bit of a giggle.
They were trying to do the let's kill him, we'll count down, and then no one follows you up. That's the classic.
Yeah, and as it turned out, Cuz had a lot of health bar to get through, so that he wasn't needing to be too worried about it. You can see they did get to a 5,000 gold lead. It was then turned back around by D+. but it was only short-lived, and they are now moving down to the lower bracket here in the playoffs. And they'll be facing off against B&K Fearex, a very scary opponent. And I believe that is going to be on Tuesday as well, if I'm not mistaken. As Gio is going to pick up player of the match here. His Ash Arrows were fantastic. His Callista was the reason they were able to win in that game number 2. Even his Ezreal was fantastic in game number 1.
Yeah, finding moments to poke out Smash at critical team fights. Really played it well.
Yep.
I think this is the Gio we didn't just hope for on KT. It's been a while. We knew that Gio...
We were promised this Gio since he won challenges on Nongshim.
Yeah, this feels like he's hit his stride at just the perfect time. We also have a space interview with Score. We were talking about how it looked like their preparation was so good. You get to see one of the legendary junglers of the LCK talk about what they did going into this series.
Yeah, and we'll see whether Score can help them move forward and win another title for KT Rolster as well. Score managing to do that in his final year in 2018. Might be another opportunity to do so with KT here if they're able to keep up this performance. Going to be a quite difficult scenario now as the choices to go up against for Genji, T1 and KT. T1 having a very rough one against B&K Fearex. KT 3-0ing DK. I don't know what the choice is going to be. Thankfully, I don't have to make that choice, and instead, we're just going to go straight over to the interview with Gio. Let's throw it.
2016 우리은행 LCK 플레이오프
Thank you very much,
승자조
guys.
1라운드 두
This is
번째
Jason
매치
for the post-match interview translation, and today we are here joined by
플레이오프
Gio, the POM, on the side of KT Rolster.
KT로스터가 승리하면서
And it was a clean 3-0 sweep for KT Rolster. Congratulations! Thank you very much.
정말 엄청난 경기였습니다. 기세 좋았던
What a phenomenal performance. A 3-0 win up against D plus Kia. That was on a great momentum. How are you feeling? Honestly, yeah, I was really nervous, to be honest, because this is like my first playoffs. But it feels amazing that we got a 3-0. Exactly. This is your first ever LCK playoffs experience. And then in your first playoffs match, you won a POM. I think today means a lot to you. How does that feel? I had no idea that I would win a POM today. It feels great and fantastic to win a POM on a day that I played my first playoffs. And KT Rolster started up the playoffs race from play-ins, whereas D plus Kia had a solid run at the end of the regular season. So what was the main focus preparing for the match today? There was one time where we almost got a huge, allowed the opponents to get a huge upset, so we really wanted to make sure that we were focusing up. Let's go all the way back to first game. On your Ezreal, you were able to pull off a very proactive performance, shifting forward. How are you so good at Ezreal? After I joined KT Rolster, I did play a lot of Ezreal games, and it was having a really decent win rate, so I was pretty confident. And then game 2, KT Rolster pulled off an upset turnaround after falling 14,000 gold behind. How are you making this kind of a comeback every time? What's the secret of KT Rolster? You know, just not giving up, and waiting for the opponents to make mistakes. And then game 3, we had Ashe Seraphine for the bottom lane, and then Cho'Gath. We did see something similar from the LPL. What was the main concept or inspiration of the comp? I played against Cho'Gath in the solo queue, and I thought it was a very strong pick. And Cho'Gath is a very strong front line, so it's very reliable. And Gio, your Ashe ult was really on point as well. How confident are you at the moment? We were on a really good ride since we picked up 2 wins in a row today. So I think I was just going with the vibe, you know, following along the momentum, and it worked really well with the ash shots. And in game 3 with Cho'Gath, KT was able to get a sneaky Baron. Whose call was that? I'm not sure whether it was BDD or Cuz, but I think they were talking about it. They started the Baron and kind of suggested, why don't we just go for the Baron? And BDD in the game number 1, he was able to pick up his 3,000th LCK kills. Any message over to BDD to celebrate? Congratulations, BDD, on your 3,000 kills.
지우 선수가 함께해서 BDD 선수도 너무 기분 좋으셨을 것 같습니다.
Now we have a fresh update in the playoffs round 2. This just came in. Genji selected KT Roaster as their opponent. Did you expect that? Honestly, I mean, like, I had no idea, but still, we will do our best.
예상을 있었던 것 같은데 마지막으로 그럼
Lastly,
각오 한 말씀 들어보겠습니다.
what is your mindset for the upcoming match? No, we got a 3-0 win today. I want to keep this momentum going. We will keep up making more wins, picking up more wins, and I will make sure that KT Roaster makes it to Worlds. And that was Jiu from KT Roaster, and I'm gonna pass it back to the space. Thank you.
Yes, there it is. In the face of 15 zeros, it's not just one man.
That doesn't even have today's on there. That's
win.
three other ones.
And
That's
multiple
three other
men.
ones.
And look at that. Look at that global side. I think they went, most of them went 3-0.
So I will.
This time, it was a lot of 3-0s again. And then they 3-0'd. But it was KT.
What did you vote for?
I mean, I voted for DK 3-0, but
Did you vote for on this one?
I voted
wait a
Genji,
minute.
I guess.
Oh, it's right there. 3-0 as well? Wow.
It's too far away. I can't read.
Wow. I wonder what Score is going to have to say about that. We'll ask him later. Also, I do know that Lore, who said, oh, I wasn't watching the Hanjin Brion series against KT because I needed to rest a little bit, was definitely tweeting during this series already. 3-0, is it time to get E-word?
All right, I'm going to be honest. I tried to curse them with my E-word.
Whoa,
after game 1.
Can we talk about why did Genji pick this team that looked way better informed than what T1 looked like yesterday, who have historically beaten them in important best of 5s? What's going on with that one?
I think they do
that
believe.
Seems like a bad choice.
I think they do believe about like T1 magic in the playoff. When they play against the classic like matchup.
Sure, I saw a little bit of that in Game 5 yesterday.
I don't know. Let's go ahead and take a look at our palms and comments here as we've got ourselves a lot to get through today. It is the way of Jiwoo. He gets it 8 out of 13, but shoutouts for everyone except Effort, even though he had that zoning ult on the Seraphine.
He had a big ult later on.
Other than that, you know, still a lot in the top lane.
I mean, I had to vote for Jiu. Because I think the main reason why I predicted DK to win is because of the bot lane. I think it was like I was expecting like huge gap on the bot lane, but it did not happen. So I feel like Jiu was making so many good plays by himself, and that made a huge difference this game. So
Wolf's talking.
Right? Sorry. I didn't see.
It's funny because I wanted to vote for Gio for all those reasons, but I ultimately went with Perfect. I think even though he got caught on the Gnar that one time, had a really good game there in the end, had the really important Trundle counter pick. I think his preparation coming this series was really good. And so I also just wanted to, you know, I agree with everything you said. And I didn't want to, you know, say it again, but I kind of, I guess, ultimately did. Gio had a great series, but I went for Perfect because he's shown now he's a veteran of the top lane. He's no longer a rookie, no longer that young gun. He's actually just a strong, consistent top player.
I love that because, again, this has been Perfect's best year. He's proven it to all of us. He was at one point the best top laner in the LCK and shown when they needed someone to rely on, able to do that. We did quickly.
Yeah,
We can take
big step up when it's needed. That's all I got to say here.
Big,
very accurate.
Multiple bigs here. Big step up indeed. Let's see what we had from Ox. Bring in the clutch factor. as well. So Ox sharing that one. There you go. So those were our comments here from the global side. A little bit short so that we can welcome on into the space our interview for this playoff series. Please welcome KT roster head coach. It's Score. Score, come on in.
안녕하세요.
안녕하세요.
축하드립니다. Congrats. 감사합니다. Thank you.
All right, let's start first. Things first, a 3-0 victory. Obviously, you expected victory, but did you expect 3-0 against D+ today?
일단 먼저 승리 너무 축하드리고요. 하지만 오늘 3대 0이라는 정말 쾌거를 이루셨는데 좀 오늘 예상하셨나요?
좀 예상했다면 좀 당연히 거짓말인 것 같지만 저희가 어쨌든 다전제는 컨디션이 좋은 날은 이제 또 언제나 업셋이 일어날 수 있다 생각해서 네, 예상은 못했지만 뭐 나올 수도 있는 스코어였다.
It's gonna be a lie, like if I say I predicted 3-0, but always BO5. It happens sometimes. It really depends on like the day's form with the players. So it's kind of predictable when you expect what's gonna happen in the BO5s. So it was kind of predictable at the same time.
So I want to bring attention to draft a little bit here. We saw both the Trundle counterpick to the Olaf in the top lane and then the Cho'Gath there in game 3 for the jungle. So walk me through some of the strategic prep you guys had going into this series.
이제 뱀픽에 관해서 조금 이야기를 나눠볼까 하는데요. 특히나 오늘은 이제 탑에서 트런들이 또 나왔고 그리고 또 정글 초가스라는 픽도 나왔는데 준비 과정에서 이런 것들을 어떻게 준비하셨는지 궁금합니다.
일단은 트런들 같은 경우에는 LPL에서 좀 나오고 있었고 저희도 미리 좀 준비를 하고 있었는데 오늘 좀 상황이 나와가지고 이제 뽑게 됐고 이제 초가스도 뭐 프로 게이머 선수들이 솔랭에서도 많이 연습하고 이번에 또 LPL에서 또 나오기도 하고 그렇게 좀 유행되거나 나오는 게 있으면 좀 최대한 조합을 어떻게 구성을 해서 뽑을지 선수들과 좀 얘기를 많이 하는 편입니다.
So for the Trundle top, it was already appearing in the LPL, so we were keep eyes on it. So it was also, I think today was a good situation for the Trundle top into Olaf, and I think it goes same for Cho'Gath as well. It also appeared in the LPL too, but also in the solo queue, many pro players are already playing it. So I think we were already like kind of knew that what's gonna happen in the meta, and we are trying to following the trend, and this is what happened. Yeah.
You've been in the LCK in Korean League of Legends since 2012. BDD now hitting his 3,000 kills. Like, how great is it getting to work with BDD? And, you know, how much more, how great is it working with BDD?
BDD 선수가 오늘 3,000킬을 달성했잖아요. 정말 BDD 선수는 정말 대단한 선수인데 BDD 선수와 같이 일하는 경험은 어떠신가요?
일단은 BDD 선수가 항상 이제 연습 과정에서도 되게 좋게 잘 해주고 또 뭐 3,000킬 할 때 동안 어쨌든 뭐 거의 다 잘했잖아요. 이제 모든 시즌이 웬만하면 잘했던 것 같은데 이제 같이 지켜보면서도 이 선수 진짜 잘한다라는 걸 좀 많이 보고 느끼고 있습니다.
So working with BDD is like, I think he's just really good in the practice as well. And also I think during the 3,000 kills, I feel like BDD was just like good in general. I think he just performed like good in general. And whenever I see him, I just feel like he's just so good.
Another question we had was about roster changes. Jiwoo has joined this team slightly more than a month ago. What has that prep been like for you, both strategically and personality-wise, getting him to fit with the rest of the team and yourself?
지우 선수가 합류한 지 한 달도 채 안 된 그런 느낌인데 전략적으로나 혹은 뭐 지우 선수의 성격적으로나 팀에 좀 같이 이제 적응하는 과정에서 좀 어떤 과정이 있었는지 궁금합니다.
일단은 뭐 챔피언 폭 같은 경우에도 지우 선수가 좀 문제가 없기도 하고 뭐 가장 중요했던 거는 또 저희 선수들이 특히 뭐 베테랑 선수인 뭐 BDD 선수나 커즈 선수 뭐 상호 선수도 어떻게 보면 다 베테랑인데 좀 지우 선수가 왔을 때 좀 잘 챙겨주면서 팀워크를 좀 빨리 이끌어낸 것 같습니다.
I think Jiu has no issue on his champion pool, and I think it's really good that we have so many veterans, someone like BDD and Cuts. So that's why he worked really well with the team easily because we had so many good veterans in the team.
So I want to ask next about your upcoming opponent, Genji. They chose you just moments ago. This to me feels like it might be a mistake considering how many big wins you guys have had over Genji in best of fives, as well as your form today looked better than T1's did yesterday. How do you feel about being chosen by Genji, and do you think you can overcome them?
이제 막 방금 전에 젠지가 KT를 상대로 골랐다는 소식이 들려왔는데요. 사실 어떻게 보면은 퍼포먼스적으로 봤을 때는 오히려 T1을 고르지 않을까 뭐 그런 생각도 있었는데 이 부분에 대해서 좀 어떻게 생각하시나요? 젠지가 KT를 고를 거라는 걸 좀 예상하셨었나요?
뭐 사실 뭐 객관적으로 저희가 정규 시즌에는 이제 T1보다 좀 못했던 게 사실이고 뭐 그러다 보니까 저희가 좀 골라질 것 같았고 뭐 골라졌다고 뭐 저희가 더 못하는 건 아니잖아요. 이제 저희 할 일만 잘하면은 젠지전도 충분히 승산이 있다고 생각해서 네, 열심히 준비하겠습니다.
So to be fair, I think in the regular split we were not like performing better than T1 to be honest, but it doesn't mean that like the reason why Genji picked us is because not like we're not like worse than them. So I think it really depends on how we prepare against them. So I think we what we can do is just like prepare better and then like wait for the next match.
Well, you had great preparation today and a huge victory score. You've been a part of Korean League of Legends for such a long time and have so many fans, including here in global fans saying hello now. What would you like to say to your fans around the world?
정말 전 세계적으로도 많은 팬분들이 스코어 감독님을 응원해 주시고 있는데 팬분들께 마지막으로 한 말씀 해주신다면요.
제가 뭐 선수 생활 할 때부터 항상 좀 외국 팬들도 많이 응원해 주시는데 정말 고맙게 생각하고 있고 뭐 특히 KT 팬분들이 더 많을 거라고 생각해서 남은 경기 잘 준비하는 게 좀 보답하는 일이라 생각해서 그거에 집중 잘하겠습니다.
I am aware of global fans since when I was a player, so I think to best to reward them as a coach is to be prepared more as a KT, and then we will try our best to bring the wins for the fans.
Legend as a player, legend as a coach. Thank you so much for joining us here. Coach Score with yet another massive victory and one series away from the 2026 World Championship. Congratulations. 축하합니다.
감사합니다.
감사합니다.
There it is. KT Rolster with the most dominant victory that we've seen so far, a 3-0 win here. And we got to see some pop-off celebrations from Perfect, but he wasn't the only one with this week's best ceremony. Let's take a look at some of the big celebrations from our victors. Oh, yes! I forgot about
the sponge. This was a great one. Love to see this one. This was pretty aggressive, but I think warranted considering what we saw in the game itself. Also, Taeyun.
Oh, that was the one.
Oh!
That was the one, man.
But, or was this the one?
Go to sleep!
This
no.
Oh my god!
Go away!
Whoa.
And then
that's a trundle dance.
Yes. That's the trundle trollin dance. As
he knew he was ready to play it, and he knew he was ready to do the ceremony.
He really got the fangs in this one. BDD.
Agumon right there. That's the man.
I know. You know, he'll just like normally coyly do it a little bit. And what?
What is happening?
Wolf doesn't know.
I did not know this was happening. He's trying to speak to me. Stats ready. Oh my god.
Oh my god. Is this part of the best ceremony?
I'm just in.
I think it is.
Co-caster getting prepped while Valdez is just popping off right next to me. I apologize for not knowing that he even was doing whatever that was.
He was vibing out to LCK's very own song here in 2026. It is
Pain in the Dark.
Pain in the Dark, which they will probably perform over at the 2026 Wooribank LCK playoffs. which you can see very, very soon. Let us know in the chat who you think this best ceremony goes to. Was it Valdez there? I think it's Valdez.
I mean, look, with the...
I think it's Tae.
You guys remember when we did our Lane Mates episode where he showcased his incredible lip reading skills?
That's true.
You were linked up?
That's true.
Showing he could do dubbing as well. Like, he actually can lip sync perfectly, as you guys saw there.
I agree. By the
He
way,
can do both sides.
Yeah, I like that song, by the way. The la 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 part is the best. I agree.
Especially when Valdez's face is on it. I hope they put him in the next video.
How is Taeyun have 1 vote?
Yeah,
crazy.
I mean, I think.
Valdez took all the votes.
Took all the votes. Yeah.
It was Valdez getting the votes, but it was KT Rolster with the massive upset today over D plus Kia, a 3-0 victory and a perfect troll dance to follow as well. It was just something that none of us could see.
3-0, nothing to see here, but actually, as Genji chose KT, I think you guys heard it when I said on the interview earlier, this feels like it might backfire. This might end up ultimately being a mistake. D+ have to fight their way through the lower bracket as well here, which is not something anyone expected.
No.
So with BNK also playing better against T1 and having a pretty dominant series earlier on against Nongshim in the play-ins, playoffs feel pretty up in the air right now. We don't know the form of Genji and Hanwha at this moment in time either.
I feel like getting 3-0'd by underdog is hurting a lot. I think when you think about the momentum in the playoffs, it's going to hurt them so much. And at the same time, the game 2, the big comeback from the KT was showing that they have the spirit, they have the mindset of like kind of positivity coming into this playoff. So I feel like it's more, it means more than like just the win today, I feel like.
Especially when it felt like D+ was the, you know, not the underdog, but the gritty team, right? It was their turn to finally be the one that rises up to challenge the top 3. They've got the most informed team since MSI.
They were
and they got 3-0.
Most of the games.
Yeah, they had real Dark Horse energy. You know, it started to feel like this wasn't a fluke. Like maybe they're gonna win the whole thing. Maybe they just have that magic. And now they're really a dark horse, but not in the positive sense. Right now, it feels like, can they even come back?
It's again the preparation. I feel like the Trundle top and the Jungle Cho'Gath surprised us. We could see it from the BNK Furex and T1 as well, bringing up the top Nasus and the Cannon top as well. So I feel like it's all about the preparation on the picks. And I'm wonder what Genji and HLE is gonna bring to us.
For those of you who truly love Korean League of Legends, this is a great reminder for all of you. This is the best week ever because matches start not on Wednesday, but on Tuesday. That's right, we only have 1 day off. Tuesday, the upper bracket round 2 matches will commence. It is Genji who selected KT Rolster as the next match.
That prep that was just being discussed from Woodid, I mean, Genji might have to alter some of what they were doing based on what they saw against KT. KT also going to have to try to figure out how to showcase more new drafts against Genji without having information about what Genji have been doing and scrimming and practicing.
We could have complete different draft because Huni and I were talking about top Olaf has no counter. But it turned out we have Kled, we have Trundle, we have so many picks right now. So I feel like it's going to be a full mess. But I feel like I still believe in Genji though. I think I'm going to predict Genji to win though. That's my prediction here.
Every time we think Genji is going to beat KT, and it's obvious, as we saw earlier on that big
all right.
They're ready.
This is one of many times this has happened with Genji. Not even in best of fives always, but it does happen in best of fives, as we saw at Worlds, for example. KT come up big, right? So never count them out.
Yeah, so we know that all next week there will be matches, but we only know 3 of them. We have Genji versus KT on Tuesday. We've got Hanwha versus T1 on Wednesday. And then the elimination match, D plus Kia versus BNK Furex on Thursday. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we'll have the bangers from all the winners. Hey, it has been a great week of playoffs, and we're just getting started. On behalf of everyone here at the LCK, thank you so much for watching. We're going to take our 1-day break, and we'll be right back on Tuesday for that first upper bracket match. Bye-bye. Take care of yourself.
See you Tuesday.
See ya.
when I lift my mic into the stars.